Our story begins with Lady Leticia, a young woman blessed with immense wealth and the unwavering love of her adoptive family, the CEO and his wife. This idyllic life, however, was tragically short-lived. Her adoptive parents perished in an accident, leaving Leticia and her younger sister utterly alone. Seeing their vulnerability, their uncle, Baron Willett, swiftly seized his opportunity. Feigning concern, he tricked Leticia's naive sister into signing a debt agreement, stripping the family of their entire fortune. Fate then guided Leticia down an unexpected path, the path of the sword. She honed her skills, becoming a knight of the Empire. Through countless battles, she rose to the rank of Vice Captain of the Silver Knights, a trusted confidant of the Emperor, instrumental in restoring peace to the war-torn land. As a reward for her unwavering service, the Emperor decreed that she marry the 8-year-old Duke Vaulty. Despite her vehement objections, could she defy the Emperor's command? And what of the young pilot, Kai, who had captured her heart? Join us as we unravel this captivating tale. The Enia Empire, once a defeated nation, prided itself on its fierce power struggles, seeing them as a reflection of its inherent dignity. Especially since the previous emperor had multiple heirs, a bloody battle for succession erupted, as was customary, the moment he closed his eyes. The internal power struggle was considered inevitable. Yet, the current emperor had two loyal figures fighting by his side like a sword and shield, the captain of the Silver Knights, Duke Vaulty, and the woman known on the battlefield as the Bloody Murderer or the Mad Dog, Leticia, Vice Captain of the Silver Knights. With the aid of these two formidable knights, the current emperor emerged victorious from the struggle for power. Months later, within the opulent walls of the palace, the emperor's voice echoed, Leticia. At the sound of her name, Leticia jolted awake. The emperor, his patience wearing thin, remarked, "Do you know how many times I've called your name?" Suppressing a yawn, she replied nonchalantly, "3 times, I think." He sighed, 5 times. 5 times." She settled back in her chair. "My apologies, Your Majesty." "But what were we talking about?" he asked, a hint of exasperation in his voice. "Were you sleeping so soundly you heard nothing?" The emperor continued, "Now that the war is over and the empire is stable, we need some good news. I intend to arrange a marriage for you." With Duke Vaulty, Leticia's apparent indifference surprised him. She seemed utterly detached, as if the matter had nothing to do with her. The gravity of the situation suddenly hit her, and she slapped her cheeks with both hands. Perplexed, the emperor inquired, "Why did you suddenly do that?" She responded, "I felt like I was dreaming. This is not a dream." "Don't do that." Her face flushed. "Are you serious?" The emperor explained, "Listen, Duke Vaulty is a highly esteemed dragon slayer. He boasts immense wealth. Wouldn't he make a wonderful husband? Moreover, he is a sword and shield under my command. If you and Duke Vaulty join forces, you will both become pillars of the empire." Leticia hesitated. "I understand your point, but Duke Vaulty, the one you mentioned, is only 8 years old." The image of marrying a small boy flashed through her mind. It was utterly bizarre. She paused, then asked again, "Are you truly serious?" The emperor chuckled. "You are only 21, Leticia protested, "but I'm 13 years older than that child." He remained nonchalant. "So what?" The previous emperor married a girl 28 years his junior. Exasperated, she covered her face with her hands. "Is that why you're still laughing even after the war?" She couldn't help but laugh along with him. He continued, "Isn't that a joke only I can make?" Looking at his face, "I imagine he'll be quite handsome in 10 years. "I suppose so," she conceded. "Your Majesty," he cut Leticia off again. "And don't you think the late Duke Vaulty, who adored you, will be pleased?" His words conjured the image of the late Duke. She murmured to herself, "If he were still alive, perhaps." The head of the Vaulty family, an ancient dragon-slaying clan, and the captain of the Silver Knights who contributed so much to the war. She remembered his radiant smile beneath the sun, his hand outstretched as he said, "Come, let us end this war swiftly." Leticia thought to herself, until he said, "I need you, Leticia." "I never thought something like this would happen," the emperor said. Who could have imagined such an excellent man would fall victim to dark magic? He wouldn't have wanted his son to inherit the dukedom at such a young age either. "It's truly a shame." She lightly clasped her hands at her lap and replied, "Yes, Your Majesty." He continued, "You know, more than one person has their eye on the Vaulty dukedom. The young duke needs a powerful protector, someone to establish the dukedom and enhance its power. Don't you agree, Leticia?" She froze, a flicker of realization in her eyes. Leticia recalled her past. She had been the adopted daughter of a Viscount, the CEO, with a loving family and a kind younger brother. Leticia had believed her happiness would remain complete. Just like that, however, 10 years ago, her parents had died in a carriage accident. They left her alone in the world with almost nothing. Ruthless adults had tried to take the two children, wanting the CEO's fortune and the family's assets. So Leticia had studied tirelessly, day after day, to protect her family, struggling to survive. She had to contact her father's brother, Baron Willett, the discount CEO, and her younger brother. Leticia trusted and followed the Baron, who had been warm towards her. But she hadn't known that those gentle hands would drag them into the abyss. Holding the contract, she had been stunned. "What is this? What kind of contract is this?" He'd replied nonchalantly, "Can't you read? It's the IOU signed by the little guy, the amount Theowen has to pay." Her uncle had persuaded her younger brother, the little guy, to sign the IOU, planning to ruin their family after they incurred an insurmountable debt. Then, he had taken the boy away, not forgetting to remind her, "Do you know how to use a sword? If you roll around on the battlefield or become a knight for another family, you can easily earn a lot of money. I'll take care of the little guy until you pay off the debt." Leticia had been left with no choice. A battlefield, it seemed, had been thrust upon her because of an endless debt. Even if she was called a money-grubbing killer, she didn't care. She just wanted to bring back her little brother and the CEO. She had said to the Emperor then, "As you said, wealth and power are necessary for me. But what will the young Duke think? Does the child even know about this conversation?" When she asked this question, silence fell over the room. The Emperor laughed. "Isn't that the point of an arranged marriage?" She said, "You mean even a marriage where the other party doesn't even know?" She thought to herself, if he's 8, the same age as the little guy, I still don't like children being affected by these adult situations. Then she said, "If it is your Majesty's arrangement, I will reconsider it." With that, she stood to leave. However, the Emperor said, "What if I said it was an order?" She turned, a brilliant smile on her face. "Regardless, I cannot marry a child." A few days later, standing before the Duke's mansion, Leticia thought, "I was certain I felt that way, but I ended up with Duke Vaulty anyway." She placed a hand on her forehead, a worried frown creasing her brow. Just then, Baron Boughton, the vice-captain of the Knights, approached and asked, "Captain, didn't you refuse Duke Vaulty's proposal?" She replied, "Of course I refused. You haven't forgotten His Majesty's orders, have you?" He answered, "Certainly not. Today, we are here on the Emperor's orders to deliver the former captain's belongings to Duke Vaulty." She exasperately rapped Boughton on the head. "You're only half right." At this moment, her mind was filled with a whirlwind of confused thoughts. The true mission the Emperor had given her was this: deliver the pendant that belonged to the former Duke Vaulty to the Duke, and ensure his son, the current Duke, wears it at the royal banquet. If everyone sees the pendant bestowed by His Majesty himself around the Duke's neck, it will confirm the strong relationship between the royal family and Duke Vaulty. I can clearly see His Majesty's plan to tie me to Duke Vaulty. Then the butler invited the two inside, saying, "I will inform the Duke. Please wait here for a moment." The moment Leticia stepped into the room, she was struck by the faces of those already seated. Who were these people? Glancing at their insignia, she recognized the Blood Moon Knights. Their impassive stares startled her, making her blink in disbelief. Why were they here? Like the Silver Knights, the Blood Moon Knights were an order dedicated to upholding the Empire's order, but they were staunch elitists, admitting only high-ranking nobles into their ranks, always holding their dignity and honor above others. The Silver Knights, in contrast, prioritized skill, including knights from various levels. They were invariably dispatched to the dangerous front lines, the ones most knights sought to avoid. Furthermore, Leticia's significant contributions to the battle that threatened the throne had increased the Emperor's trust in the Silver Knights, so the Blood Moon Knights were always critical and wished for the Silver Knights' decline. The strained relationship between the two forces festered on its own. However, until now, they hadn't encountered any overtly significant issues, as the differing missions of the two forces prevented direct conflict. So, being assigned the same task like this, putting aside the issues between the two forces, signaled an important mission that had to be completed at all costs. Suddenly, one of the knights spoke. "Do you feel inferior? How much His Majesty must attest the Silver Knights to entrust the Blood Moon Knights with the task of transporting your captain's remains?" The speaker was the vice captain of the Blood Moon Knights, Eugen Corot. He continued, judging by her expression, she doesn't even know about this, does she? Or is she just too stupid to even know shame? Bolton slammed his hand on the table and stood up in a rage. Don't spout nonsense, Eugen, he snarled. Get lost, you waste of space, just following that mad dog. Then they all burst into laughter. Leticia continued to watch them impassively, showing no sign of anger. He continued his provocation. Everyone must have heard the rumors. They say the Silver Knights would kill for money. They wouldn't stoop to something so dirty, would they? She gave a cold smile and replied, That's right, it was me. For money, I wouldn't hesitate to kill anyone, noble or not. But you said you'd pay, didn't you? He was taken aback. What? Everyone in the palace knows you bribed your way into the campaign, right? Oh, you did that when you went to war too? You were terrified of the war breaking out, weren't you? Hitting a nerve, he became enraged, his face flushing crimson. Where did you hear that? She laughed. What are you going to do about it? You're the one who solves everything with money, yet you can't even buy the loyalty of your own dogs. He gritted his teeth in fury, then pointed at her face. Enough. What nonsense are you spouting? I'll deal with a dog like you first. Bolton cautioned. Watch your words, Eugen. The person before you is the captain of the Silver Knights. Astonished murmurs rippled through the room. Come to think of it, that is the captain's insignia. When did that happen? But she hasn't been officially appointed yet, has she? Was she appointed while the Vaulty family was in disarray? She smiled to herself. Isn't it amazing? She thought. They assumed there would be a formal inauguration ceremony during the war. How could those confined within the palace walls understand the realities of the battlefield? Regardless, the ritual still follows its hierarchy. Eugen trembled with rage, glaring at her with murderous intent. I just got promoted to vice captain, and then she gets promoted to captain. He seethed inwardly. Leticia smiled smugly. I can guess what he's thinking now. He'll shut his mouth, staring at the empty teacup in front of him. A sudden thought struck her. Right, what's the young duke doing? Why haven't we heard anything yet? Suddenly, an unusual sound reached her ears. That sound. Did something happen to the duke? She worried. Then she asked Bolton, Did you hear that? He replied, Yes. Captain Eugen, understanding nothing, muttered, What happened all of a sudden? Then she instructed, I'll go check just in case. Bolton, wait here, will you? He answered, understood. Then she jumped straight out the window. Eugen panicked. Wait, what are you doing? This is the 3rd floor. He stared after her, dumbfounded. Crazy woman. Just then, a maid's voice called out, Your Grace, please come down. She approached and inquired, I thought I heard screaming. Is everything all right? The maid replied, Captain, the Duke is up there. Leticia followed the maid's gaze and saw the young Duke perched on a branch of an ancient tree, reading a book. Looking at the boy, she thought, so that's the current Duke Vaulty. The Duke climbed a tree? Leticia asked. The maid answered, We've called him down several times, but he pretends not to hear. Leticia listened, then surmised, this child seems even more difficult to handle than the other one. I don't know what to do. The maid continued, I suppose we'll just have to wait for him to come down on his own, like last time. Leticia thought, even the Imperial Knights are here, but now, resolutely, she began to climb the tree. Seeing this, the maid cried out in alarm. Captain! A gentle breeze rustled the leaves. The boy was just about to turn the page when Leticia's voice reached him. It seems you can see everything from up here, can't you? The boy looked over. Leticia offered a friendly smile. It's a pleasure to meet you, Your Grace. I'm Leticia, captain of the Silver Knights. She beamed, extending her hand. Leticia Cortez, paying my respects to Duke Vaulty. The boy looked slightly startled, then softly called out, Sister. Who are you? Get out of here. Kai's words stunned her. This kid, she thought. No sooner had she formed the thought than Kai jumped down from the branch. To Leticia's astonishment, he ran like the wind towards the forest, leaving the 2 maids scrambling after him. Please come back, Your Grace. Your guests are waiting in the drawing room. Watching the scene unfold, Leticia remarked, He's fast. It seems the Duke isn't very well informed about me. He must be so young that he hasn't heard much. Regardless, with his title, it's difficult for me to approach him. I'll approach Kai cautiously, in my own way, without making him uncomfortable. Sometime later, Kai had run deep into the forest. He sat down on the ground, muttering to himself, I've run this far. They'll never find me. Then, he realized with a jolt that he'd dropped his book. That's one of the rarest books in the kingdom, he mumbled worriedly. Then he thought of Leticia and began to fume. This is all because of that woman. I climbed the tree to avoid those bothersome questions. Then Kai wondered just who was that woman. Thinking back on Leticia's actions and demeanor, he was reminded of his father. Suddenly, Leticia appeared beside him. What's wrong? What did you get here? Leticia held out the book. I came to return this. Is it yours? The moment Kai saw his limited edition book, he snatched it back, glaring at Leticia. Who are you? He demanded. Me? She replied. I'm a royal knight. Kai pressed on. You seem unaware of who I am. Leticia responded casually. You're the heir to the Vaulty dukedom, sacrificed for dark magic, right? You know who I am, and yet you speak to the Duke with such disrespect. Kai retorted, turning to leave. Seeing this, Leticia had to hurry after him to explain. I always speak this way, even in front of the king. Anyway, you seem a bit upset. You must have inherited the Duke's temper. As soon as she finished speaking, Kai whirled around, glaring. Watch your words. Don't mention that. Seeing his reaction, Leticia was taken aback. After a moment, she lowered her head and apologized. But Kai just glanced at her, thinking she's annoying. Looking at her, she wasn't like the others, nothing special. Meanwhile, Leticia began to feel guilty. Did I go too far? I just wanted to get closer to him and give him his book. Then the boy spoke. Kai, she was surprised. What? The young Duke blushed shyly. Caesar Gaul Titus, he said, introducing himself. That's my name. She paused, then a warm smile touched her lips. As I mentioned before, she said, I'm Leticia Cortez. Kai's eyes widened. That's a long name. Call me whatever you like, she replied. He looks so much like his father, the late Duke Vaulty, she thought. Not just in appearance, but even his temperament feels similar. I can almost see him 10 years from now. What are you looking at? He asked. She simply smiled. Even so, right now, he's just a little kitten. Suddenly, the young Duke leaped from the tree and darted into the forest. Leticia hurried after him. Where are you going? She called. The boy's reply was frosty. You're being disrespectful again. I'm not telling you. Oh, she said, a hint of amusement in her voice. Shy are we? Or should I whisper? I'm not telling you. And so they walked, the silence stretching between them. After a while, the path led them back to the very same mansion, much to Leticia's surprise. He ran off like that, only to come back on his own. The steward, upon seeing him, cried out in relief, tears welling in his eyes. Your Grace, you're back. Where did you go? There was a bit of a commotion. Kai's response was curt. A walk, he said, turning to leave. The steward hurried after him. My lord, I apologize. Please forgive my rudeness. It's fine, the young Duke continued. I'm going inside now. That steward must have a difficult time. Leticia thought sympathetically. Kai entered the room where everyone was waiting. Murmurs rippled through the assembled knights. That child is Duke Vaulty? I heard he was young, but not this young. Kai perched himself on the central chair with an air of nonchalance. Why has everyone come to see me? He asked. Leticia hid a smile. His feet don't even touch the ground. Someone stepped forward, holding a pendant. There is something we must present to you, your Grace, he said respectfully. A treasured heirloom of the late Duke Vaulty. Kai stared at the relic, his expression unreadable. Leticia was about to speak, but Eugen cut her off. The Emperor specifically entrusted this task to us, as this was your father's, he said, his voice laced with a smugness that grated on Leticia's nerves. We are the Emperor's personal knights. The fact that he had us do this is proof of the trust he places in the Duke. As Eugen spoke, Kai's face darkened. Leticia noticed the shift in the boy's expression. Eugen, oblivious, continued his self-aggrandizing speech. The Emperor wishes for you to wear this pendant at the banquet. Before Eugen could finish, Kai slammed his hand on the table. There's no need, he declared. He cut off Eugen's shocked gasp. Tell the Emperor I will not be wearing it at the banquet. A wave of astonishment washed over the room. This is a gift from the Emperor, presented before you have even formally inherited the dukedom, someone protested. Do you intend to defy the Emperor's orders? Holding a funeral without a body, and then giving me this, Kai retorted, his voice tight with suppressed emotion, is no different from an insult. Eugen stammered, this. The young Duke cut him off again. I said I don't need it. Do you understand? I'm tired of talking. If there's nothing else, leave. Leticia quietly stepped forward, picked up the pendant, and said, if that is your decision, I will come again another time. Eugen gaped at her. What are you saying? Leaving just like that? This is the Emperor's order. Leticia ignored him and walked out. Seeing this, Eugen, fuming, stormed off as well. After they left, Kai's thoughts lingered on Leticia's words. She said she'll come again. What is her motive? As dusk settled inside a tavern, two men sat, deep in conversation. Have you heard the rumors? One asked. What rumors? They say Duke Vaulty will fall soon. What nonsense are you spouting? Haven't you heard all the talk about the Blood Moon Knights lately? Well, the current Duke Vaulty is only 8 years old. Bolton sighed. Everyone's talking about it, he said, turning to Leticia. What are you going to do now? You don't have a plan? He continued. Things are a bit complicated now, but it's His Majesty's order, so we have to carry it out no matter what. Leticia placed her drink on the table, pouting. He knows that perfectly well, and yet he still does this. The more trouble I have, the happier he is. Bolton, hearing this, cautioned, that's disrespectful. Leticia, unfazed by the reminder, retorted, so what? It's the truth. Isn't that exactly the reaction the Emperor wants from Duke Vaulty? He gave that task to me because he wants to see me clash with a child. Seeing her suspicion, Bolton quickly tried to soothe her. Calm down. It's absolutely not like that, Leticia. At that moment, Leticia remembered Kai, a smile brightening her face. Anyway, I can't disobey orders. I just have to endure it, looking at the Duke's cute face. Bolton, hearing this, looked perplexed. Leticia, her spirits lifted, called for another drink. Seeing this, Bolton quickly stopped her. You're already drunk. Don't drink anymore. Get up now. Just then, a group of Blood Moon Knights entered the tavern, laughing amongst themselves, their conversation boisterous. I told him off. He must be feeling pretty down, right? That kid couldn't even speak properly, just stammering. They noticed Leticia's inebriated state and began to mock her. Look over there. There's no one more pathetic than her. As a captain, she should know her place. Pushing Bolton's hand away, she slurred, honestly, I'm not drunk. I can walk on my own. Suddenly, someone grabbed Leticia's hand. The person's voice boomed. I've caught some filth. Hearing the voice, she looked up, thinking, who is this? Standing before her was Eugen Carreau, the vice-captain of the Blood Moon Knights. Leticia looked at him and said, it's the arrogant brat, Eugen. He glared at her, warning, don't you dare speak my name with that vulgar mouth of yours. Just listening to your unpleasant words is annoying enough. Leticia's face darkened at his words. Bolton, sensing the imminent explosion, became deeply worried. If I let them continue like this, they'll tear each other apart. He quickly intervened. Captain, please stop it. Contrary to his expectations, Leticia smiled brightly. I don't like it either, Eugen. She poked Eugen in the chest, her words a direct insult. I'm speaking my mind. What are you complaining about? You arrogant, privileged brat. Hearing this, Eugen scoffed. How vulgar. If this idiot is a captain, the Silver Knights are doomed. Leticia, of course, wouldn't back down, her retort unsettling the surrounding Blood Moon Knights. How laughable. Take care of yourself. I hear you get chewed out by the Blood Moon Knights more than I do. Can you even handle those insults? Then, she aimed directly at Eugen. I thought after handing off the task His Majesty gave me to my subordinates, I could finally relax. Is it luck or recklessness? Do you think those rabble can compare to the Silver Knights? Hearing this, he spoke sternly. It seems you're very confident about this task. How about we make a bet? She looked at him suspiciously. What are you suddenly talking about? Eugen continued. His Majesty has given you a task related to the current Duke Vaulty, correct? He will be attending the royal banquet with the late Duke's heirloom. He held a small knife, then abruptly threw it into the wall. Eugen issued his challenge. That task rests entirely on the Silver Knights. Hearing this, Leticia smirked. Are you planning to drag us down again? Dream on. Seeing her reluctance, Eugen offered a different proposition. Then I'll offer a condition you'll like. If the Silver Knights successfully complete the task, I'll transfer half a year's worth of the Blood Moon Knight salary to you. The Blood Moon Knights were stunned by his words. Eugen then added another condition, directed at Leticia. But if you fail, resign from your captaincy and get out of here. Hearing this, Leticia frowned. Will things go my way? The position of captain is directly appointed by His Majesty the Emperor. Seeing her continued hesitation, he sneered. Then how about this? Admit your incompetence and kneel before the Blood Moon Knights to apologize. Leticia's eyes widened at the words. Bolton quickly intervened. No, Captain. Infuriated by the interruption, Eugen snapped, Shut up, you bastard. Leticia offered a dazzling smile. You really want me to kneel like that? She picked up a fork from the table. and flung it across the room. It landed squarely in the hilt of the knife Eugen had previously thrown into the wall. The Blood Moon Knights were stunned. To hit it so accurately with a fork. Unbelievable. She turned back to Eugen. But do you want to kill me? He scoffed. I wouldn't dirty my hands on trash like you. Don't bother me. If you want to die, go find a way yourself. Leticia sighed inwardly. If that's the case, this is even more interesting. Aloud, she said, how boring. Finally, Leticia declared, fine, I'll take that bet. How could I possibly fail? Bolton looked panicked. Leticia continued, let's make a year's salary. I do love money, don't I? The Blood Moon Knights paled at her words. Eugen's voice was laced with a thrill. I knew you'd accept. You should know your place. Someone blinded by money, kneeling before the Blood Moon Knights. It's not like you haven't done it before. He added, the deadline is the royal banquet tomorrow. Bolton grumbled, first thing in the morning. Just yesterday, Leticia, still recovering from a night of drinking, had snapped, so noisy, Bolton. My head is killing me. Bolton argued that it was a reckless wager. Leticia stood and donned her uniform. If you pay me, I'll slit someone's throat right now. What is there I can't do? Bolton still seemed intent on dissuading her. Seeing his worry, she placed a hand on his shoulder. Bolton, don't be scared. Would the Silver Knights be affected by such a small task? This is what we do. She turned, confidence radiating from her. Don't worry about me. Go back to sleep. Inwardly, she was gleeful. Yes, persuading him is what I do best. This is nothing to me. It definitely won't be, she thought, her mind flashing to Duke Vaulty. Leticia's voice was laced with exasperation. Are you planning to keep me trapped on this balcony? Can I open the window? Instead of persuading the child, she had been locked out. Kai ignored her, turning his face away, prompting an irritated, you little brat. Leticia was starting to regret her actions. I followed him because he said he wanted to show me something. I should have known he was lying because he didn't want to be disturbed. If it's come to this, I have no choice but to use that method. Kai continued reading. He wondered, has she given up? Then he decided, why should I care? Kai assessed Leticia in his mind, friendly on the surface, hiding her intentions. But that's also because of the task the Emperor gave her. Just ignore her. The Vaulty dukedom can stand on its own without the Emperor's help. Everyone needs to know that. So I need to become more capable, more powerful than I am now. I have to do everything I can. 30 minutes later, Kai was still reading, his thoughts drifting. So why is dark magic? Leticia appeared in his room, interrupting his thoughts. Forbidden again, right? Its consequences don't just stay within one empire. They spread across the entire continent. Even the Enia Empire strictly prohibits its use. Kai was startled. I see. Wait, how did you get in here? Leticia cheerfully boasted of her accomplishment. I jumped on a balcony and opened the door. Kai thought like a monkey, but then he asked, where did you get the cake? Leticia explained, the maids recognized me and gave it to me. As expected, your reputation precedes you. He frowned. No matter how hard you try, I won't change my mind. So, take it if you like and go back. Before he could finish, Leticia popped a piece of cake into his mouth. Is the cake good? She asked brightly. Want a bite? Kai mumbled, calling her crazy under his breath, but he ate the cake with obvious relish. Leticia found him utterly adorable. Then, her expression turning serious, she asked, but truly, don't you want me to return and reinforce your position? That implies you've been curious about your father's affairs, not about Duke Vaulty's, right? Kai flinched at her words. Leticia pressed on. The adults around you offer sympathy and pity. Perhaps, she continued, but in reality, most of them are relieved it's not their problem. Kai stared at her, visibly shaken. Leticia, seeming to understand his feelings perfectly, said, it's terrifying, but you can't give up because the entire family legacy rests on your shoulders. Burying yourself in your studies, avoiding everyone, searching for the strength to protect your family, right? I understand that feeling completely. I used to be the same way. But if you keep living so mechanically, eventually a gear will break. You've been working so hard. I understand how you feel because I've been through something similar. A faint blush crept up Kai's neck and across his cheeks. He muttered, you're a strange person. Leticia, inwardly, was surprised. Oh my, she thought, holding back tears in front of a stranger. How admirable. Aloud, she asked, by the way, can you answer me honestly now? Why don't you want to accept the inheritance? It's your father's. At her words, Kai's fingers tightened on his book. His voice was cold as he replied, he's not my father. Leticia gasped. What are you saying? In that moment, she knew she wouldn't get an answer. If Kai didn't want to talk, she couldn't force him. That day, even though she hadn't heard the young duke's thoughts, she continued to visit him, befriending the maids and playing hide-and-seek with the young duke. Looking up at Kai perched atop a statue, Leticia wondered, how did he even climb up there? They even read books together. She thought, if this continues, we'll become close, right? Just then, a subordinate called out to Kai, something the matter? The subordinate spoke hurriedly. We have a guest. Viscount Everett is here. At the name, Kai visibly shuddered. Leticia thought, could that Viscount Everett be from the same family as Enzo, the leader of the Blood Moon Knights? If so, he has some connection to Duke Vaulty within the Enia Empire, but not close enough to come directly to the ducal mansion. What is Viscount Everett's intention? Seeing the strange shift in Kai's demeanor, she immediately asked, Kai, are you all right? She realized he was trembling. Witnessing this, Leticia speculated inwardly. Why? Maybe the guy's like the old geezer who kidnapped my little brother. Everett must have done something to him. Don't remind me of my past self. Looking at the trembling Kai, she thought he looked nothing like his usual self. Then, Leticia placed a hand on his shoulder, startling him. What are you doing? She asked. Kneeling before Kai, she offered words of comfort. Kai Vaulty, don't worry. You're the Duke of the Vaulty family now. Looking directly into his eyes, Leticia spoke with unwavering conviction. Compose yourself, face him with confidence, and everything will be all right. I will protect you. Hope flickered in Kai's eyes. Leticia, you must keep your promise, he said. She nodded instantly. All right. Together, they walked into the mansion. Leticia continued, right, I'm not very famous, but there are still quite a few people who know me. Among them, this Earl Everett openly dislikes me. If he sees my face, he'll try to find fault with me. Kai's worry was evident. Then what should we do? He asked. She smiled at him. Don't worry, all that hide-and-seek practice will come in handy now. Inside the reception room, Earl Everett greeted Kai. How do you do, Your Grace? Kai simply hummed in response. The Viscount feigned concern. I haven't seen you lately, so I was worried. I hope everything is well. Kai replied curtly, thank you for your concern. At the words of gratitude, the Viscount smiled. It's nothing, Everett said. Oh, I forgot to introduce you. I didn't come alone today. Come in. A young girl entered and curtsied to Kai. She lifted her head and introduced herself. I am Violet Everett. Everett gestured towards Violet. This is my daughter, 12 years old. She's gentle and sweet. We call her our little angel at home. And she's quite lovely, so proposals keep pouring in. Kai merely nodded perfunctorily, paying little attention. Violet walked over and sat beside him. Looking at his teacup, devoid of any steam, she offered, Your Grace, your tea has gone cold. May I pour you a fresh cup? I've been learning the art of tea brewing lately. Kai seemed flustered, but eventually agreed to let Violet do so. Everett continued to talk about Violet. She's studying diligently to become a handmaiden to the new queen. Well, if she were a bit older, she'd be a perfect candidate for the queen herself. Violet giggled innocently. Oh, father, I'm only 12. I prefer some of my own age. She trailed off, glancing at Kai, making him visibly uncomfortable. This is so awkward. Why is she sitting so close? He thought. The tea was poured. Violet immediately presented it. Here you are, Your Grace. Please have some tea. Don't refuse. Drink it while it's hot. Kai closed his eyes in exasperation, murmuring, Please, just leave me alone. The teacup clattered to the floor, shattering into pieces. The hot tea splashed, slightly scalding the girl's hand. Everett rushed to her side. Violet, my dear, are you all right? Violet extended her trembling hands. Father, my hand. What have I done? Just hold on. Someone get a wet towel. The chaotic scene made Kai panic. How could this happen? If the Viscount's daughter's delicate hands are scarred, this will be a disaster. It could become a serious issue between our families. Kai stammered fearfully, It wasn't me. Everett continued to fuss. Are you all right, Violet? Tears welled in Violet's eyes. I'm fine, father. It's just, I was so nervous meeting the Duke for the first time. Then, looking directly at Kai, she added, Please be kinder to me next time. My daughter, my angel Violet, Everett exclaimed, his tone turning ominous. If the young Duke had understood your heart, this wouldn't have happened. Kai was lost in thought. It wasn't me. I might have touched the cup, but I didn't push it hard enough to make it fall and break. But what if it was my fault? What am I supposed to do if this young lady is injured because of me? A hand pushed the door open. It was Leticia. This wasn't the young Duke's fault, she declared. The maids were startled by her unusual entrance. Captain, this is the second floor. How did you get up here? I told you to stop using the windows. It's dangerous. Leticia replied with a grin. It's fine, it's fine. What's the big deal? I used to climb trees all the time to see the Duke. Really? What have you gotten hurt? Seeing her, Kai stammered. Violet's demeanor changed instantly upon seeing Leticia. Who are you? How dare you? Leticia addressed the girl calmly. I am Leticia, commander of the Silver Knights. Leticia of the Silver Knights? Viscount Everett's brow furrowed immediately. You wretch. Leticia continued, unfazed. Now I know where Enzo learned his vulgar language. Like father, like son. Violet bristled. Are you insulting the Everett family now? Father, arrest this rude woman at once. Leticia remained undaunted, even displaying a hint of authority. I'm afraid you can't touch me without the Emperor's permission, little miss. Because I am the one most cherished by His Majesty. Violet retorted. That's not true. The person His Majesty cherishes most is Lord Enzo. A worried Everett cautioned his daughter. Don't speak to such people, Violet. Ignore them. They're foolish and arrogant. But that woman, while the father and daughter bickered, Kai's gaze shifted to Leticia. She returned his look with a reassuring warmth. You kept your promise to me. I won't be afraid anymore. Kai spoke, his voice gaining strength. It wasn't me. I didn't knock over the teacup, and I will keep my promise to you. My hand did brush against the cup, Kai explained to Leticia, but not with enough force to break it. That young lady must have felt it. Leticia nodded in agreement. I thought so too. The moment her hand touched the Duke's, she deliberately threw the cup to the floor. It's truly disappointing to see such behavior from a noble lady of the Everett family. As the maids looked on with disdain, Violet continued to protest. I would never do such a thing. Why are you accusing me? Accusing you? Leticia countered. I'm merely speculating that if you were to enter the palace with such a talent, you'd be thrown out sooner rather than later, little girl. You're better suited for the theater than serving in the imperial palace. Exposed by Leticia's words, Violet began to cry. She grabbed a cup of hot tea from the table. How dare you, you insolent wretch! The tea splashed across Leticia's face. Despite being drenched, Leticia maintained a smile. Now I understand. This young lady is quite skilled at throwing cups. So, the angelic Violet act was all a pretense. Violet, regaining her composure, quickly denied it. Didn't mean to. It's all because of father. Viscount Everett roared. Enough, you brat. His Majesty spared you, and now you're growing bolder. How dare you disrespect me? How dare? Kai quickly stepped forward to stop him. Stop, Viscount, the boy declared. The young lady is at fault. Leave Leticia alone. Leticia was startled by his courageous act. This child, who was trembling just moments ago upon hearing the Viscount's name, is now protecting me. Hearing this, the Viscount hesitated, his mind racing. Damn, this brat. He then abruptly turned. I apologize for the disturbance, Duke. It's best we leave now. Seeing his daughter's reluctance, he urged her angrily. What are you doing, Violet? Let's go. That wretch. She dared to interfere with my plans. I'll swallow the Duke whole sooner or later, but something unexpected has occurred. Until recently, he was just a quiet, timid boy, Vaulty. A child who wouldn't even dare look me in the eye now defies me again. I'll have to deal with him properly. In Kai's room, the boy was bandaging Leticia's burn. Stay still, don't move. Finally, finished. Leticia looked at the wound on her hand, thinking, on the battlefield, this wouldn't even be considered a scratch. I can't believe they're being so careful with it. Kai asked her, does it still hurt? What? No, I'm fine. The boy pressed further. You could have dodged it. Why did you block it with your hand? What if it had hit your face? Leticia, pleased by his concern, laughed aloud. Are you worried about me? I'm all right. He avoided her gaze, asking, your name is so long. What should I call you? Should I call you Leticia? The endearing nickname made Leticia like him even more. She nodded vigorously. That's fine. Kai, why do you always shorten everything? Because you do the same. I'm only 8. You're not the same age as me. Yeah, I'm older. How old are you? I'm 21. Kai immediately froze. She explained to him that 21 was still young. However, Kai shook his head, disbelieving. Unbelievable. Leticia's expression darkened as she mentioned the old Everett man from earlier. Does he come here often? He replied. Yes, he often comes here to talk about ducal matters. Hearing this, Leticia surmised. I'm sure that old man isn't just here for idle chatter. He must have some scheme in mind. Kai's next words caught her attention. I'm afraid of Viscount Everett. If you hadn't come sooner, I would have been the one clumsily spilling hot tea on the Viscount's daughter. Leticia asked him, what did the Viscount say to you? Seeing the boy's pensive expression, Leticia gradually understood. Is it painful to talk about? Witnessing this, she decided to share her own experience. Actually, I also had someone I feared when I was younger, so I understand how you feel. This approach indeed piqued Kai's interest. The boy said suspiciously, "Is that person not afraid of you? Are you even human? What's with that tone? It would be nice to drink with someone, but I can't because you're just a kid." Kai retorted childishly, "What's so great about being an adult? I don't want to be a childish young man like you." He then asked, "What are you going to do? I think it's unfair to make me come all the way here to talk about myself. This time, why don't you come to see me? If you want to see me, come to the Imperial Palace." Kai's reaction was intense. He questioned Leticia, who would go there. She replied, "I don't know if you'll actually come. I'll be waiting." Then she left the room. "You're back." The door closed, leaving Kai alone, his mind filled with questions. How can you be so selfish? The boy clenched his fists. "You think I'll come? Even though she said she might come tomorrow, I won't go to the Imperial Palace." 3 days later, Kai sat in a large tree, grumbling. Honestly, she hasn't come back since that day. If Leticia isn't going to come to me, then so be it. It's so nice not to have to hide like this. With that thought, he jumped down, startling 2 maids nearby. One of them asked, "Were you in the tree just now? The butler is looking for you. We have a guest." "Yes, I'm sure they're waiting for you in the Duke's room. The royal ball gown you order has arrived." Kai thought to himself, "Speaking of the royal ball, I was told to wear that ring. When Leticia told me to go to the Imperial Palace, did she mean the royal ball?" Kai decided to meet the guest, just as the maids had said. "The Duke looks a little different, don't you think?" The other maid replied, "Be careful in the Duke's room." Kai met the butler who was waiting for him. The butler said, "Greetings, your grace. These are Baron and Baroness Last, the owners of Ether Dress Shop." The couple also greeted him. "It's an honor to meet you, young Duke." A series of garments were brought out. "We've finished designing the gown and jewelry you ordered last time. I hear it's a grand royal ball, with all the nobles attending. This is your first public appearance, so we made sure it's both luxurious and eye-catching." The boy froze. "All the royals will. Will the knights attend directly?" "Quite possibly. Some knights have already requested gowns for the ball. Is there any particular knight you would like to bring to the ball?" Kai's sore spot was struck, and he flinched. The boy denied it. "No," but the couple continued, bringing out an array of jewelry. "We at Ether Dress Shop are known for our splendid knightly attire. We also provide scabbards." An idea suddenly struck Kai. "I have to reward her for helping me last time." The boy quickly tried on each item, unsure if Leticia would wear such things. Seeing his hesitation, the Baroness suggested, "If you don't like jewelry, how about a handkerchief?" She brought another cabinet filled with handkerchiefs. "Yes, hand-embroidered handkerchiefs are often used by knights." Kai's gaze was drawn to something. A pink flower embroidered on a handkerchief looked quite unique. Does the Empire have this kind of flower? For some reason, it reminded him of her. Kai picked up the handkerchief embroidered with a plumeria. "I like this design. Is this all? Are you sure you don't need anything else?" He affirmed resolutely, "I like it." Then Kai turned to the butler and asked, "When is the royal banquet?" "A week from now," the butler replied. "I haven't asked her about the royal banquet, have I?" So, Kai decisively told the butler, "Prepare the carriage. I have to go to the Imperial Palace now." As Kai wished, at the noble Imperial Palace, in the Silver Knights' private training grounds, everyone was diligently practicing. Leticia's voice rang out, provoking her opponent. "Are you ready, Barton? Come on." The boy named Barton seemed displeased with the wager he had with Leticia. He said, "Captain, I wasn't part of that bet." Hearing this, she was surprised. "What are you saying all of a sudden?" The sparring match had barely begun when Barton brought up the matter of Duke Vaulty's pendant. Captain Leticia immediately grasped the implications. "Are you still upset about that?" she asked, her gaze sharp. Barton's expression turned wary. "It's not a laughing matter," he retorted, his tone defensive. He mentioned the looming deadline. "Only a week left. We can't even leave the Imperial Palace. We have to practice for the royal banquet, and the artifact is still in your possession." Leticia, in contrast, seemed unfazed. "Plenty of time," she reassured him calmly, even as she deftly disarmed her sparring partner, sending his sword clattering to the ground. Captain Leticia pointed out Barton's weakness with blunt precision. "Your swings get sloppy when you're distracted. You need to focus." "Focus," she reiterated, her voice softening with concern. "Don't worry too much about the wager. I have a plan. Everything will be all right, won't it?" Barton replied, dubiously. I'll trust your plan. Then, curiosity piqued, he inquired about the specifics. Leticia, cornered, resorted to a bit of bravado. It's simple. If I can't go out there, I'll have them come here. Makes sense, right? Barton stared blankly. Have them come here? That's preposterous. Leticia was quick to demonstrate the feasibility of her scheme. Glancing around the training grounds, she remarked, "You say preposterous, but it looks like he's already arrived." To Barton's astonishment, Kai's figure emerged from the shadows, his expression pensive. He had indeed arrived. Upon seeing Kai carrying a shield twice his size, Leticia greeted him enthusiastically. "Welcome. I've been waiting for you like crazy." Her greeting was met with Kai's cool demeanor. "Are you planning on attending the royal banquet? I was just wandering around." Witnessing Kai's outwardly aloof yet subtly caring gesture, a thought crossed Leticia's mind. He thinks I invited him to the royal banquet because of the pendant, but he still came to see me first. Leticia's fondness for the boy grew. Ruffling his hair, she showered him with playful praise. "You cutie, don't touch my head. Did you miss me? Did you want to hear my stories that much?" "No, not really." The commotion between the two, almost sibling-like, aroused Barton's suspicion. He eyed Kai thoughtfully. "Is that really the same Duke from before? The atmosphere has completely changed, hasn't it?" Kai questioned Leticia about a past agreement. "When are you going to fulfill your promise from last time?" "Not yet," she replied. "Okay, bolted. Then why did you call me here?" "Hold on," Leticia interjected, turning to Barton with a speculative glint in her eye. "Barton, have you ever trained a new recruit?" He immediately understood the implication. Barton's gaze shifted to the red-haired boy before him. "Me? Yes, but..." Kai crossed his arms defiantly. "No way. I'm not here to train, understand?" Captain Leticia slammed the tip of her sword into the ground. "A weak body breeds a weak mind. If you want to hear my stories, you must first strengthen your physique." Kai challenged her. "What are you trying to say?" Meanwhile, Barton shifted uncomfortably. "But why should I do that?" he asked suspiciously. Leticia explained her reasoning. "I've never trained a new recruit before, so I'm worried I'll break him." Barton turned his head away, muttering, "I've been training with the captain until now." Seeing this, Leticia darted over, grabbed him by the scruff of his neck, and began to whisper, "Listen, Barton." Their whispered conference continued for a good 15 minutes. After exchanging plans with Barton, Leticia instructed him, "Kid, just do as I say." About an hour later, Barton, his body weary, found Leticia in a corner of the palace. His bruised face and dazed expression made his words slurred. He trembled as he spoke. "I think I'm dying." Leticia surveyed his appearance with satisfaction. "Good job, Barton." Barton recounted his ordeal. "I didn't expect the Duke to be so agile. I couldn't get the upper hand on him even once." The person he referred to was Kai. The captain assigned him another task. "All right, Barton, now go clean up the training grounds we were using earlier." At her words, his face turned a sickly green. "What?" Barton, unable to refuse and forbidden to protest, forced himself to walk away. He muttered, "I should resign from the knighthood." Leticia teased him playfully, "I love you too." After Barton's departure, Leticia ran over to Kai, who was sitting in a nearby bush. She praised him. "You're the first kid to ever tire out my vice captain like that. You're talented." The boy was covered in sweat as well. Kai said, "It's hard work just trying to hear your stories." She grabbed the boy's hand. "Training's over. Now, for the next step." Leticia scooped him up decisively and moved at lightning speed. "Put me down." "I said put me down. You crazy woman." Later, in the dining hall that evening, Kai's voice rang out. "I wonder what she's going to make me do now." A plate of seafood fried rice was placed in front of the boy. It was even bigger than Kai himself, probably enough to feed 10 strong knights. Kai asked doubtfully, "What is this?" This mountain of food. It turned out to be Leticia's portion for one meal. She said cheerfully, "Don't worry, this is mine. That's yours." The boy compared the food on his plate to the mountain of food in front of her and asked, "They said that's a special portion for knights. Do people usually eat this much?" Leticia scooped up a spoonful of rice and savored it with gusto. She replied, "Well, I usually eat a lot." Seeing that Kai hadn't touched his food, Leticia urged him, "Why aren't you eating? Aren't you hungry after running around like that?" At this, Kai also began to eat with his spoon. Before putting the food in his mouth, the boy asked, "What if it's poisoned?" This made Leticia, who was in the middle of eating, stop in surprise. Kai continued, "They told me not to eat food from outside carelessly. It could be poisoned by someone." "Who said that?" she asked the boy. "Duke Everett." Leticia's expression instantly stiffened. She concluded, "Duke Everett's intentions are too obvious. By instilling unnecessary fear and worry, he wants Kai to distrust everyone. To prove that the boy's food was perfectly harmless, Leticia casually picked up a piece of meat with her fork and feigned indifference. If you don't want to eat it, then don't. She put the meat directly into her mouth. I'm not full yet, so I'll eat it. Kai's heart seemed to be touched by Leticia's straightforwardness. He watched her, speechless. He looked at the food on the table and reproached himself like an idiot. I actually did what Duke Everett said, even though I promised I wouldn't be afraid anymore. With that said, Kai began to devour the rice on his plate. Seeing him enjoying his meal, Captain Leticia asked, "How is it? Is it good?" "It's not bad." Her mood brightened. At least he was eating more comfortably than last time. Following this, Leticia expressed a series of heartfelt thoughts. "I won't call you to the Imperial Palace for other purposes anymore. I just want you to be freer. Unlike me, who has always lived under pressure from my surroundings, you can live more freely and beautifully. That's what I want." In the blink of an eye, the two had emptied their plates. "I'm full now. See, no poison, right?" "Yeah." Leticia repeated the promise she had made to Kai that morning. "Since you worked hard training and eating, I'll tell you a story now." "Really?" "Yes, about the person I'm afraid of and how I got called the money killer." Leticia's voice began to falter. She hesitated, unsure where to begin her story. She began softly, "When I was little, just like you, I lost my parents." Then Leticia told Kai about the accident that happened to her parents and younger brother when they were young. She also told him about Will Wright, the person she feared the most. He had instilled a deep terror within her. She continued calmly, "My uncle put us in enormous debt and forced me to pay it off. I had no choice but to obey his orders. If I didn't earn money, we would lose our family name, and my brother would become a slave." Kai was deeply upset by her words and couldn't help raising his voice. "How could there be such a person? It's not your fault. The adults should know they should help you. I just want to live with my brother." Hearing Kai's consolation, Leticia felt a pang of sympathy. A genuine smile touched her lips. "This feels nice." She turned, her smile lingering. "Don't get so worked up. Calm down." Kai's response was immediate. "How can I calm down in a situation like this? Aren't you angry?" She answered softly, "I am. That's why I called you here." Leticia's voice took on a serious tone. "Just like what my uncle did to me, I want to hear what Duke Everett did to you." Leticia asked this because she knew how dangerous it was for Everett to be keeping such a close eye on Kai. Because of this, she couldn't just stand by and watch. When the Duke deliberately controls him so casually, no one can be sure what will happen. Leticia declared firmly, "This kind of thing won't happen again." Kai shifted uncomfortably. He spoke softly, "Actually, I've always wanted my father's approval." Leticia was a little surprised to hear this. She had a vague idea of what the former Duke Vaulty was like. Kai reminisced sadly, "When I was very young, my father was a great hero. At first, I admired him. I wanted to be a hero just like him. But one day, my father never came home. My last memory of him is when I was 3 years old. People talk about him like they know everything about him, but not for me." Leticia listened to his story, gradually understanding. She quickly apologized for bringing up Kai's painful memories, but he didn't mind, continuing with complex emotions. "It's okay. Other people kept saying these things. I had to understand him. But what about my sick mother? My mother kept waiting for the father who abandoned us. She said if I waited patiently, father would come back soon. Mother missed father, but she didn't want to bother him. I believed mother and kept waiting for father to return. Until she died, she was still waiting for my father. I needed a father who would take care of my sick mother, not a hero who saved the world. My mother trusted him and waited until she died." Hearing this, Leticia felt a bitter pang in her heart, because for her, the captain, a symbol of heroism, was always fighting on the battlefield and always willing to help others, so she took it for granted. One of her teammates hesitantly said to the captain, "Your wife is very ill. Shouldn't you go and see her?" The captain ignored him and replied, "It's fine." The teammate saw this but still wanted to persuade him, so he continued, "Your son is looking for you too. We can finish this mission. You should go and see your family." He said coldly, "Don't mention it again." Leticia at the time thought the captain was leading them to victory, so he couldn't leave. She thought he couldn't leave the battlefield for personal reasons. But he was like a madman, pouring everything into the battlefield. He abandoned his family. Kai recalled sadly, "It was then that I met Duke Everett. He said he would take me to see where my busy father was, and I didn't refuse because I wanted to be like him, a fully realized person." Hearing how he took advantage of a child, Leticia was furious. She knew exactly why he did it. For the Duke, having a member of the Vaulty family follow him like his father, there was no reason to refuse. She said softly to Kai, he doesn't want you to trust anyone else. That's why you're always uncomfortable around others, prefer to be alone, and why you were so uneasy eating outside just now. Duke Everett cleverly controlled you in this way, making you distrust anyone and isolating yourself. Hearing this, Kai nodded slightly, thinking to himself, from that moment on, I started avoiding others and became wary of them. I was subconsciously afraid that if I went against the Duke's will, I would be abandoned, a child without love. So when given a little, they don't want to lose it. The more Kai spoke, the sadder he became. Although I know the Duke is completely different from my father, I was afraid that it was my fault that my father never came back. After pouring out everything in his heart, he became very sorrowful. Seeing this, Leticia didn't know how to comfort him. She gently offered Kai a necklace. A single glance was all it took for him to recognize it as his father's. Kai carefully opened the locket. Inside, nestled against the velvet lining, was a picture of himself and his mother, taken when he was very young. Holding the necklace, a wave of astonishment washed over him. It was the last gift he'd received from his father, a treasure he'd carried constantly until, eventually, he'd lost it. He could scarcely believe it had been kept safe all this time. Watching Kai, Leticia's expression was a mixture of emotions. Captain Leticia, her benefactor, the woman she'd always believed to be kind to everyone. The thought lingered, unresolved. Lost in thought, she sighed unconsciously. A decision seemed to solidify within her. Turning to Kai, she said, if you're free, come to the training grounds at the palace tomorrow. A smile touched Leticia's lips. I'll help you until you overcome your fear. Her motivation was clear, to repay Captain Leticia's kindness. Kai, however, was puzzled. Travel all this way again? He questioned. Leticia's smile remained, her response a playful non sequitur. A surge of pride swelled within her. I'm sure you'll be very satisfied too, right? She thought. The next morning, at the training grounds, following Captain Leticia's suggestion, the young Duke had been coming to the Imperial Palace regularly for training. Barton, sword in hand, mused to himself. At first, I wondered why they were training a child like that, but now I understand. Just a few days ago, after their first encounter, Kai hadn't even known how to hold a sword. Now, he was sparring with Barton. At this rate, he'll surpass me in 5 years. He's incredibly gifted. The sparring match with Barton ended, leaving Kai breathless and exhausted. Glancing towards the chairs at the edge of the training grounds, he couldn't help but wonder, why isn't Leticia here? She usually sat there, observing the daily training sessions. Her absence brought a pang of disappointment. He shyly asked Barton, is Leticia busy? Barton, following Kai's gaze towards the empty chairs, replied with a smile, the banquet is tomorrow. The commander is busy with an audience with His Majesty. The news jolted Kai. The banquet is almost here. The handkerchief I ordered from Bia last has arrived too. The days spent training had flown by, blurring into one another. Kai's mind raced, trying to devise a way to give Leticia the gift. But his thoughts soon spiraled into negativity. Observing this, Barton asked, do you have something to say to the captain? Just as Kai began to answer, a shrill voice cut through the air. Insolent bastards! A haughty blood moon knight confronted the Silver Knights. How dare you defy me? He raged, his voice laced with indignation. Why are only the Silver Knights on duty for the banquet? Kai secretly realized there was a problem brewing between the Royal Knights. Witnessing the escalating tension, Barton moved to intervene. Stay here, he instructed Kai before heading towards the commotion. The Blood Moon Knight, Urgin, sneered. Who else would guard it but you lowlifes? The Silver Knights bristled at the insult. This duty was supposed to be shared with the Blood Moon Knights. One of them retorted, I don't understand why you're doing this. Barton arrived, demanding an explanation. What's going on here? The moment Urgin saw him, his face twisted into a contemptuous sneer. The argument escalated, their voices growing louder and more agitated. Kai hesitated, unsure whether he should observe the unfolding drama. He cautiously crept closer, trying to glean what he could. Listening to their heated exchange, he began to piece together the nature of the conflict between the two knightly orders. Barton, taking charge, dismissed the Blood Moon Knights. Stop your nonsense, he commanded. Get out of here before the captain arrives. You incompetents. Urgin's face flushed with anger. Sensing the situation was becoming increasingly volatile, Kai quietly turned and slipped away. Just as he was about to leave, Kai overheard a startling piece of information from the group he'd been observing. If that brat doesn't have the necklace at the banquet tomorrow, we'll have a good show. One of them, Urgent said with a provocative smirk. I haven't forgotten. If Duke Vaulty shows up without that necklace, your captain promised to kneel before us. Barton, who was nearby, overheard this exchange and was taken aback. They hadn't heard Leticia mention anything about such an agreement. The thought of Leticia kneeling before anyone, let alone Urgent, sent a jolt of shock through Kai. Urgent continued his taunts, his voice dripping with sarcasm. That captain over there must be having a tough time, short on money herself, and now she has to worry about her subordinates' wallets too, like a pauper caring for other paupers. Barton bristled at the insult. He reacted instantly, launching a fist directly into Urgent's face. Why don't you shut your mouth? Two knights rushed to steady the dazed Urgent. The incident ignited a brawl. Both knight squads surged forward, clashing in a flurry of fists and bodies. Kai stood apart from the chaos, watching with a worried frown. A frigid voice cut through the tumult, bringing the fight to a sudden halt. What in the world is going on here? The speaker was Captain Enzo of the Blood Moon Knights. He surveyed the scene with a deep, disapproving frown. It was those Barton guys who started it. One of Urgent's men, Owen, blurted out. Before he could finish, Enzo cut him off with an icy glare. Shut up, Owen. He stepped closer, his voice laced with accusation. Do you have any idea how reckless your captain is being? Attacking a mid-level Royal Knight squad? Have your men lost their minds as well? Suddenly, a hand landed on Enzo's shoulder. Leticia stood there, her expression stern. What have you done to my squad? She demanded. Enzo scowled at her. Are you so insane that you can't even tell right from wrong? Leticia shrugged. It's pretty clear your side started this. Why don't you apologize and leave while I'm still being reasonable? Enzo scoffed. And which side do you think will end up worse off? Barton's lot is truly pathetic to have a captain like you. Leticia's eyes flashed with defiance. Now, who's the one who doesn't understand the situation? With those words, she launched herself at Enzo, initiating an attack. The aura emanating from both of them was oppressive, forcing those nearby to cover their noses against the sheer force of it. Barton's eyes widened in astonishment. That power with just a wooden sword. Is this the difference between captains? Leticia complimented Enzo with a smirk. You've gotten stronger, but it's still not enough to beat me. Enzo retorted angrily. Barbarians like you only have brute strength. Kai, who had approached, breathed out a low whistle. Unbelievable. He turned to Barton, a serious question in his eyes. Is she really going to unleash her full power within the Imperial Palace? Barton, seeing Kai's apparent lack of concern, was bewildered. He stared at the escalating fight. Shouldn't we stop them? Kai responded with a questioning look. How are we supposed to stop them? Even if all the knights here combined their strength, they wouldn't be able to. Barton clapped his hands over his ears. If we wait a little longer, the only person who can stop them will show up. Just then, a shrill voice shrieked. Hey, what are you doing? Causing trouble in the Imperial Palace? Both of you, stop this instant. The voice belonged to Elon, the Emperor's aide. Elon rushed towards them, shouting, Everyone, stop this right now. Do you know where you are? Brawling like this. Leticia tried to explain. Elon, let me explain. Actually, Elon cut her off, her voice sharp with anger. An engineer serving the Emperor, acting like this. Aren't you ashamed, Duke Vaulty? Witnessing this, Kai turned to Barton. That crazy woman is the type who does whatever she wants. Even the Emperor gave up on her, so why is she so obedient to that woman now? Barton, equally perplexed, stammered. Well, after a moment of thought, he continued. Elon is the one who controls the Knight Order's funds. Elon's voice rang out, a stern warning. If you're still standing here, causing trouble in the Imperial Palace, don't expect to see a single coin. She suddenly shouted, If you still value your money, disperse immediately. The gathered crowd hastily yelled and scattered. Yes, we'll leave this place right away. They urged each other, hurry up and go. Elon glanced around and noticed the captain of the Blood Moon Knights still standing there. She sternly addressed him, Captain Enzo, it's time to disperse. Enzo turned to Leticia, sneering. Don't think you can escape next time, you lowlife. Leticia smiled. With just your words. She continued, You won't win here. A voice from behind sent a chill down her spine. Leticia, you're quite something as well. She immediately fled, admiring under her breath. Elon is truly formidable. She dispersed the crowd so quickly. I'm busy, so I'll excuse myself. Elon immediately called out. Hold it, Leticia. She raised her voice. Why are you always the center of attention? Leticia stammered. Well, ignoring the previous incident, Elon reminded her. For now, just complete your task. Don't disappoint the Emperor. Leticia promptly replied, yes. With a capable aide like Elon here, His Majesty must be very satisfied. She continued in a voice filled with admiration. With so many capable aides, our empire will surely flourish. Elon, seeing right through her flattery, said, enough with the compliments. Go and do your task. Leticia beamed. Elon, she said cheerfully, have fun. Thinking with relief, is the conversation finally over? She turned around and addressed Kai. Your Grace, are you all right? My knights were too negligent in their duties. Kai Vaulty immediately questioned, why are you being so formal now? She pretended not to hear and continued, I allowed you to witness such an unpleasant scene. You were almost caught in the brawl. Duke Vaulty stepped closer. So you're apologizing to me now? Kai pressed. And what else? Leticia, puzzled, asked back, what else? He smiled slyly. About you. Within a magnificent palace, everyone was enjoying the banquet. But Leticia sighed sadly. Then, hesitantly, she replied, oh yes, that is a concerning matter. She was contemplating something wicked. If I hit him hard enough, maybe he'll lose his memory. Elon's voice, hard as steel, suddenly cut in, startling her. If you damage it, I'll dock your entire pay. Leticia panicked. I'll cherish it. Elon instructed. This is your first public appearance as a commander. You must know how to maintain your image. Leticia replied, yes. Enzo stepped forward. Lively atmosphere, isn't it? Leticia thought, does this guy want to get beaten up? He spoke arrogantly, his voice laced with confidence. It seems I've won this time. You better kneel obediently. Leticia retorted fiercely. If I can't use my sword, I can use brute force. Seeing this, Enzo scoffed. Have you gone mad? It seems you really do want to be punished. A voice rang out. His Imperial Majesty, the Emperor, arrives. I apologize for the wait. The Emperor entered, saying, he continued with a smile, so many familiar faces. It's been a while, hasn't it? Enzo and Leticia immediately bowed respectfully. Your Majesty. The Emperor replied cheerfully. You've worked hard. He took his seat and announced loudly, I want to thank everyone for attending this banquet. The Emperor continued, this is not just a banquet, but also a ceremony to honor the knights who have brought us glory in war. They are the wings of the Empire, two outstanding figures of our knighthood. First, the commander of the Blood Moon Knights, Everett, he declared proudly. Excited murmurs rippled through the crowd. One person asked, so, the esteemed individual standing next to His Majesty is the commander of the Blood Moon Knights? Another replied, he must possess immense power. The Emperor continued his introductions, and this is Lady Leticia, commander of the Silver Knights. As soon as the words left his mouth, panicked whispers broke out. Oh my goodness, could that be the killing machine on the battlefield everyone's been talking about? Then they wondered, why would the Emperor bestow such a noble title upon a bloodthirsty individual? But Leticia paid them no mind. She was concerned with only one thing. Will Kai come? The Emperor, anticipating Leticia's thoughts, chuckled. Duke Vaulty hasn't arrived yet. Your wager is becoming increasingly intriguing. You're well informed, she replied. The Emperor continued. Instead of focusing on your duties, you're gambling. That's quite audacious, isn't it? Leticia quickly retorted, but you seem rather interested in how things unfold. The Emperor laughed, because it truly is amusing. When an emperor is stressed, occasional entertainment is welcome. Do you want to see me kneel that badly? He teased, a hint of mockery in his voice. Have I already lost? She asked, her voice tinged with a subtle sadness. It doesn't matter anymore, she replied. It's just a bet anyway. A mixture of curiosity and annoyance flickered across the Emperor's face. An 8-year-old child making the Empire's strongest knight kneel. How will this story continue? I'm truly looking forward to it. But the banquet has been going on for a while now. It seems Kai won't be coming. Hours ticked by. A voice suddenly echoed through the hall. Duke Vaulty has arrived. The announcement rippled through the assembled guests, a wave of surprise washing over them. Even Leticia was taken aback. No way, she thought. The young Duke strode in, radiating an unexpected confidence. I apologize for my tardiness. He then bowed respectfully. Kai Vaulty, paying respects to your Majesty. A wicked smile stretched across Enzo's face. This wager belongs to me. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Isn't he the one inheriting the dukedom this time? Duke Vaulty? No matter how young he is, who does he think he is, arriving this late? Kai addressed the Emperor once more. Greetings, your majesty. I am the newly appointed Duke Vaulty Kai. Welcome, Duke Vaulty. This is your first public appearance since your investiture, the emperor acknowledged. The idle chatter continued. His majesty is truly generous. I bet he must have helped him a lot. How old is the duke now? Someone replied. I heard he's 8. The emperor chuckled. The previous Duke Vaulty was a fine man. I relied on him greatly. He continued, his tone shifting, though he was outstanding, even without a trace of using forbidden magic. A sudden silence fell over the room, everyone hanging on the emperor's words. Leticia thought, I know you're particularly harsh on those making their first public appearance, but isn't this too much? The whispers started again. Oh my goodness. Is it true about the Duke's disappearance? Rumor has it that forbidden magic was just an excuse, and he was actually hiding to avoid the Duchess. Another voice responded, Is that so? I heard that's why the Duchess passed away. Oh dear, how pitiful. Leticia seethed inwardly. These people who call themselves adults. This damned, she muttered under her breath, unable to remain silent any longer. A shout cut through the air. What? That bitch ruined my sword. Leticia sighed. Forgive me, your majesty, she said, addressing the emperor. I heard some noise during this solemn ball. The emperor waved a hand dismissively. It's all right. It's not like I'm unaware of your temperament. Leticia's gaze then settled directly on Kai. You look surprised, she thought. You thought this was all a play too, didn't you? But even if you end up hating me, you did well. It's all right. I'll always be by your side. A bright smile touched Leticia's lips. Just do as you always do, she silently encouraged him. Kai spoke to the emperor, his voice respectful. I'm not as capable as my father, but I will do my best. Kai held something in his hand. Please accept this, your majesty's precious gift. I will cherish it. A wave of astonishment swept through the hall. Only Leticia, witnessing this, smiled with satisfaction. So you brought the necklace. The emperor, seeing this, burst into laughter. Indeed, you're much like your father. Very amusing, Duke Vaulty. His tone then turned serious. I look forward to the Duke's future endeavors. The banquet transitioned into dancing. Enzo turned to Leticia. You're lucky. I don't know how you persuaded the Duke. At his words, she retorted playfully, rather than saying that, you should take better care of your subordinates. A sly smirk played on her lips. Because if the external defenses are lacking all night, thanks to our captain's foolish wager, they ended up losing a year's worth of pay. Enzo stormed off, leaving Leticia to call after him mockingly. Go worry about your blood moon nights. I bet they're shivering outside right now. Kai approached her then, asking, You won the bet, right? Leticia, surprised, responded. Duke Vaulty, his voice tight with anger, questioned, Do you have anything to say to me, Leticia? She hesitated, then said sadly, I'm sorry I bet on you. I didn't mean to belittle or hurt you. Leticia's voice was soft. It's shameful, but can you forgive me? Kai spoke, just this once. His words caught her off guard. Then, the Duke explained, You've been coming to my house to persuade me. He continued, I don't think I would resent you for causing trouble. Touched by his words, she looked at him with admiration, her eyes shining. Duke Vaulty added, And I helped you in the bet, so share the prize money with me. This puzzled her. But I don't have any money, she said. Kai continued, I heard you were going to receive money from the Blood Moon Knights, right? Leticia replied, surprised. I was planning to use all that money to fix the sword I broke earlier. Hearing this, the Duke said in disappointment, Oh dear, it seems you have no other choice. Well then, let's do something else. Confused, she asked, Do what? Kai said shyly, Please escort me for an hour, starting now. Leticia asked, surprised, Escort. Just as he was about to explain, a chorus of voices called out, Duke! A group of girls surrounded Kai, chattering excitedly. Duke Vaulty, hello? It's a pleasure to meet you. Then one girl suggested, Let's go play over there. Witnessing the scene unfolding before her, Leticia understood. So you asked me to escort you because of those children? She thought. What should I do? Should I help him? Suddenly, another female voice spoke respectfully. Hello, Duke Kai. I'm Violet Everett. She continued, You haven't forgotten me, have you? Kai replied, How could I forget? Violet exclaimed happily. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad. Then she went on, I wanted to invite you to my house last time, and I'm sorry about that. To make up for my rudeness. The Duke immediately said, I don't think I have time to go. Then she asked, Should I visit you again then? The Duke replied, What if this young lady burns her hand again? She laughed, saying, Kai, I'm sorry. I'll go to your house and apologize properly. But then, Duke Vaulty's face hardened, and he said coldly, Miss, I never permitted you to call me by my first name. Each word stung like a knife, leaving her speechless, unable to utter another word. Having witnessed the entire exchange, Leticia thought, what will he do now? Will they fight? Duke Everett suddenly approached her, his tone laced with sarcasm. I didn't know the two of you were so close. Don't you think you two look good together? Inwardly, she cursed, good together? Bullshit. Then she said aloud, we meet again, Duke Everett. He then asked, are you doing well, Leticia? Leticia replied, unfortunately, it seems not so well. Yes, I'm fine, thanks to someone. Duke Everett smirked wickedly. Don't get too close to Duke Vaulty. It was a threat, she retorted. If you're not their parent, don't interfere in that child's life, or rather, the Duke's life. He laughed. You never know. I might soon become that child's actual parent. She asked, puzzled, what do you mean? He continued, his eyes gleaming with pride. In the near future, I plan to ask His Majesty to bless Violet and the Duke's union. His words left her extremely shocked and heartbroken. Her eyes widened in alarm. Marriage, she asked herself. Leticia's eyes followed the expression on the Duke's face, her mind replaying his words. In the near future, I plan to ask His Majesty to bless Violet and the Duke's union. Her face became even more troubled. I can clearly see the Duke's scheme. It seems he can't control Kai, so now he plans to take over the Vaulty family under the guise of marriage. She addressed the Duke. Do you think His Majesty will accept such a request? Secretly suspecting he would consider it, he tilted his head at her. Regardless, I hope you'll have a word with him. You know His Majesty's temperament, don't you? He's a man of strong will. Unfortunately, this is already his peak. That's why great facilitators like us must work hand in hand. It's all for His Majesty's wise rule. His expression darkened as he tested Leticia. Unless you have other wishes right now, you surely won't refuse a servant's humble request, will you? She understood, responding with an ambiguous smile. He's a loyal servant. Just a few years ago, I recall the prince you served wasn't the current emperor. That statement truly struck a nerve with the Duke. But she wasn't afraid, still feigning nonchalance. Forgive me. He was sentenced to death, wasn't he? But luckily, the Duke seems to have escaped punishment. He replied with an awkward laugh. That's all in the past. Inwardly, he cursed. How dare she bring that up in front of him? You mad woman, you don't have time for this. At today's banquet, Kai was also looking for Leticia. He was surrounded by noble ladies, which made him very uncomfortable. This is why I had Hisa escort me. But where is she now? In a corner of the room, he saw Leticia and another person. The situation between them seemed intensely confrontational. He recognized the man as Duke Everett. This is the first time I've seen him so agitated. He hesitated. Leticia hasn't done anything wrong, has she? A lady approached and called out to the Duke, interrupting Kai's train of thought. He simply waved her away. He decided to walk towards Leticia. The position of Knight Commander is interesting. Just like the battlefield she used to roam, isn't it? He wondered. Leticia was still going back and forth with Duke Everett, practicing a sort of verbal Tai Chi. Though bloodless, I suppose it's similar. He asked her, although you're bold, how long do you think His Majesty will support you? She simply smiled and replied, at least while this Duke still lives. Her words were considered blasphemous. The Duke angrily rebuked. How dare she? Does she even know what she's saying? But by this time, young Kai had drawn close. The stories he'd heard stirred up less than pleasant memories. He was determined not to witness this unfold passively again. The glass in Kai's hand flew out. The sound caught everyone's attention, breaking the tense atmosphere between Leticia and Duke Everett. At his feet lay a puddle of water and shattered glass. Kai coldly explained, I accidentally dropped my glass. Kai's entire act of pretense was witnessed by the young lady behind him. Kai told Leticia, your clothes are dirty, so you should go to the restroom. Follow me. Leticia, confused, pointed at herself and asked, me? Kai cleared his throat, trying to appear normal. If not you, then who else besides you? Then the two followed each other and left. Just follow me. Leticia listened and said, okay. Duke Everett was left speechless. He gritted his teeth in anger. How dare she? In the restroom, Kai sighed and then shyly rubbed his hands. Leticia realized that Kai must have been scared, but he still held back. She remembered the times Kai had stood up for her before. The first time he stopped Duke Everett. Even before that, breaking the glass was also to protect her. She smiled gently and said, thank you for helping me. Kai was surprised to hear her thanks. He turned his face away and said, "You've helped me before, so I just don't want to owe you anything." Leticia touched his head. This personality, she knew it all too well. "All right, I understand." Since there was time, Leticia began to think again. "I'm planning to formally request His Majesty to facilitate the marriage between Violet and the Duke. If Duke Everett says that the combined power of the two ducal families will ensure His Majesty's throne remains secure, naturally, the Emperor will also gain more power. However, if Kai marries Violet, then I won't be able to protect him anymore." Although he was just a child, Kai was being used as a tool. But she remembered the plan her superior had told her. "I intend to have you engaged to Duke Vaulty." A thought flashed through her mind. What about marrying Kai? Kai's voice pulled Leticia from her worried thoughts. "Leticia," he said, "why did you stop petting my head?" Leticia was taken aback. She rushed over, ruffling his hair with both hands. "You wanted me to pet your head?" Kai bristled. "That's not it. Stop it. I never thought I'd seriously consider that proposal." As she continued to ruffle his hair, she thought, "Now his hair is completely messed up." Kai exclaimed, "Leticia here." He handed her a beautiful blue gift box. Leticia took the gift box excitedly. "What's this?" she asked. "Is it for me?" Kai didn't quite admit it, but said, "It's not for me. My servant has been wanting to give you a present." Receiving a surprise gift made Leticia shy. She politely opened the gift box. "Thank you," she said. "I'll treasure it." She wondered what the Duke had chosen for her. A white camellia blossom came into view. "This is—" She touched the small handkerchief embroidered with a delicate flower, feeling deeply moved. Seeing her hesitation, Kai asked worriedly, "What's wrong? You don't like it?" Leticia asked, "Where did you get this?" "This white camellia is so beautifully embroidered. It looks real." Kai repeated, "You don't like it?" "It's not that. It's just this pattern." She leaned closer and asked, "Did you order this embroidery? Or was the pattern already there? Did someone ask you to give this to me?" Her urgency surprised Kai. It was the first time he had seen Leticia so agitated. The boy explained, "I ordered it from Duke Bellows' shop. The pattern was chosen from samples the Duchess brought. I don't know its name, as it's the first time I've seen that kind of flower." Leticia said, "That's a Liburnia Leticia flower." Her gaze softened as she looked at the flower on the handkerchief. That flower's name? Of course you wouldn't know its name. Warm family memories with her parents surfaced in her mind. Leticia continued, "Because the kindest, most loving parent in the world created this artificial flower for their little daughter. I'd forgotten it since my parents passed away." Leticia gave a radiant smile. "Thank you so much." The brilliant smile left a deep impression on Kai. Strange, it's not the first time I've seen Leticia smile, but my heart is racing. Once upon a time, there was a couple deeply in love. Their happiness brought forth a baby girl. Naturally, the daughter grew up surrounded by her parents' boundless love and care. Her mother once showed her a picture and asked, "Leticia, do you know the name of this flower?" The daughter replied, "No, mother." The gentle mother said, "This flower is called Leticia." The girl asked excitedly, surprised, "Really, mother? It's the same as my name." The girl asked her mother, "Where can I see this flower? I really want to see it." The mother hesitated. Then her mother had to make up a story. "You can't see this flower because it's in the faraway North Pole." The girl said a little sadly, "Is that so? That's a shame." Mother and daughter embraced, laughing. "It's all right, because Mother has a lovely daughter right here." "Mother, that tickles." Kai's gift had brought back fond memories of Leticia and her deceased mother. Leticia held the handkerchief, wondering, "But how did this flower end up in Esther's shop?" Kai said, "I heard about it from the Duchess. It was from 10 years ago. The Baroness was taking an order. The customer was a very beautiful lady. 'Baroness, can you embroider this flower based on this picture? It will be a birthday present for my daughter.' But even after the delivery date passed, the Duchess never came to pick up the gift. I saw that Esther's dress shop still had it, so I took it." His voice was filled with uncertainty. "Perhaps the Duchess. Was it your mother?" Leticia lowered her eyes, masking her emotions. "But strangely, my uncle said my parents died in a carriage accident. That was also on the way to pick up your birthday present." Kai was astonished. "What?" The boy confirmed. "The Baroness said no one came to collect the gift." Leticia clutched the handkerchief tightly in her hand. "Then someone is lying." Meanwhile, in the underground casino of the capital, the crowd was gambling enthusiastically. In a corner, at a circular table, Baron Wilrit, Leticia's uncle, was deep in the throes of gambling. He shoved his chips forward, bellowing, "All in." The other players, intimidated, folded one by one. The dealer announced, "Victory goes to Baron Wilrit." He let out another booming laugh, scooping up his winnings while feigning humility. "My apologies, gentlemen. Echo, shall we raise the stakes?" Suddenly, a figure emerged from behind, seizing his head and slamming it down onto the table. It was Leticia. Her voice was low and dangerous. "I see your luck's been good tonight. You've won quite a bit, Baron Wilret." Baron Wilret stammered her name, his voice laced with apprehension. The other players erupted in protest. What the hell? How dare she cause a scene here? Then, recognition dawned. Wait, that's Leticia? The Emperor's sword, Leticia. As her icy gaze swept over the previously boisterous crowd, a chill descended upon the room. The casino patrons scattered. "This doesn't concern me." Those who stubbornly remained feigned bravado. "Are you afraid of a woman like that? Call the guards." Leticia cut them short, hands on her hips. "If you want to call them," she continued, "it's already too late. They've all forfeited." She gestured towards the open doors of the hall, revealing the unconscious guards sprawled outside. The remaining staff and patrons bolted. "Damn it, run. If that little monster catches you, there won't be any bones left." Within seconds, the entire underground hall was cleared. Leticia spoke, her voice sharp. "Now we can talk properly." She pressed the Baron's head firmly against the table. "You lied to me, uncle." He instantly denied it. "No," he shrieked. "I didn't. How dare you do this to me? Have you forgotten what you owe me?" His words ignited her fury. She pressed his head down harder. "What I owe you? Have you forgotten why I owe you anything at all?" She slammed a handkerchief down in front of him. "Do you know what this is? This is a gift my mother prepared 10 years ago." "Strange," she mused. "The person who made this handkerchief said no one came to collect it for 10 years. But my uncle said my parents died in a carriage accident on their way to buy me a birthday present." Infuriated at being manhandled by his niece over a mere handkerchief, he sputtered. "You're causing a scene here for this kind of thing? If it wasn't your gift, it must have been Lily's." Leticia seized the back of his neck, her grip tightening until he cried out in pain. "No, you'll explain yourself." The brutal images of that day were still etched in her mind. "They were late because my parents had to travel far. You said there was a terrible accident because they had to hurry back in the dark of night. They were on their way back after buying me a birthday present. Those birthdays were never happy occasions." Leticia remembered the way she felt then. "I was young, so I thought it was all my fault. I felt so guilty because I thought my mother died because of my birthday. Only Lily and I were left in the world, and the fear made me unable to stay sane. So I personally investigated the cause of my parents' death. The royal investigator, the person who reviewed the case, was killed for unknown reasons, and all the evidence related to the clues was destroyed. Nothing was left, as if someone had planned it all." Baron de Lorette's face was etched with unease, but she reached out and retrieved the handkerchief, saying, "After seeing this handkerchief, I'm certain." As she turned to leave the underground hall, she left him with a chilling threat. "There's a contradiction in the truth about my parents' death. So from now on, wait for me to find the evidence, uncle." Baron Wilret was left alone, massaging his throat with difficulty. He cursed furiously. "Ungrateful wretch. You don't know what important person you've offended. You'll regret this." In the grand castle of the Duke Everett's estate, everyone in the household was enjoying a lavish breakfast. But the atmosphere seemed heavy, and no one spoke. After a while, Enzo asked in a husky voice, "Father, what about that fighting kid?" Duke Everett sat in a daze for a moment, then suddenly slammed his hand on the table, making the servants shudder. "What do you mean?" Enzo retorted bluntly. "That boy is suspicious. He harbors a strong antipathy towards the royal family. Didn't you say he would never obey the Emperor's orders? But look at the outcome. That boy even swore to abide by the Emperor's command and continue to fulfill the late patriarch of the Voltaire family's will. He's like a little puppy." Seeing the resentment on Enzo's face, Violet also broke out in a cold sweat. Duke Everett calmly told his son the plan failed. Hearing this, Enzo relentlessly disparaged his father. "Father, your plans are always like this. You make it sound like there's some grand tapestry, but it's no different from a blank sheet of paper." Duke Everett revealed a sinister smile and pointed his finger at his insolent son. "The biggest blemish in my plan is you, Enzo. I thought you could control that mad dog better. I can't believe you would stumble like this. You useless thing." Despite his father's harsh reprimand, Enzo remained expressionless. As for Duke Everett, he continued to list all the mistakes Enzo had made. He lost miserably. The Blood Moon Knights were defeated by the Silver Knight, losing the right to defend the interior. Enzo started to defend himself, but Duke Everett cut him off, continuing his tirade. "I also heard that the two of you crossed swords. If you had tried your best, you could have dealt with that dog in a sword fight." Enzo hesitantly asked, "Are you saying I should have eliminated her?" Duke Everett, while enjoying a juicy steak, answered his son's question. What I mean is, you should have done something similar. I gave you strength, health, and everything. Why were you overwhelmed by someone who has nothing? The more Enzo listened, the less he could control his emotions. He stood up, frustrated. This meal ends here. Just you wait and see, father. With that, he triumphantly left. Duke Everett was also extremely angry at Enzo's arrogant words and disrespectful behavior. Incompetent. He then turned to his daughter, Violet, and asked, "Are you doing well at school?" The girl flinched and fearfully replied, "Yes. Miss Lonis also speaks highly of you." He then warned Violet, "She is not someone to be trusted, as she is very good with honeyed words. Your task is to become the Duchess, so be careful in your actions." The smile on Violet's face gradually disappeared as too much pressure weighed on her small shoulders. Duke Everett, sitting beside her, kept reminding her, "You absolutely cannot fail." Violet forced a bright smile and replied, "I will try my best to be a perfect daughter." He nodded, satisfied with his understanding daughter. "Good. After dinner, I will go to the royal palace to see the emperor and discuss your marriage. Be sure to behave elegantly and gracefully." The entire dark night loomed over Violet, who now could only follow her father's arrangements, encouraging herself to do her best. At the Eugenia Royal Palace, Duke Everett and his daughter, Violet, were present. While walking down the hallway, she suddenly noticed something. A young man's figure flashed by. Violet froze, speculating, was that person Duke Voltaire? What is he doing in the royal palace? Seeing her standing motionless like a statue, her father urged, "Violet, hurry up." The girl quickly obeyed. "Yes, father." But in her heart, she kept wondering, does he have some private business here? In the reception room, the emperor was already waiting. "Come in." Duke Everett immediately replied, "It is an honor to see you, your majesty." The emperor greeted them with a warm smile. "Duke Everett, you've come. So, why did you want to see me?" He replied with a smile, "It's just that I have a small request, your majesty." The emperor calmly stated, "If it's just a small request, then tell me." Duke Everett spoke earnestly. "Duke Voltaire recently inherited the dukedom. He is still very young, so I'm very worried about him. Therefore, I wish to offer my daughter, Violet, in marriage to Duke Caius Voltaire to assist him. Duke Voltaire does not yet understand the concept of marriage. Your Majesty, I beseech you to arrange this marriage." The emperor laughed heartily and commiserated with him. "You are too late, Duke Everett. Just an hour ago, in this very room, Lady Leticia was granted permission to marry Duke Voltaire." Caius, standing solemnly before his majesty, spoke, "I have heard everything from Lady Leticia, your majesty. I understand you wish for Leticia to marry me." His majesty shared frankly, "Indeed, I hoped that Duke Voltaire and my sword would support me together." Caius began to express his own opinion. "Your Majesty, however young I may be, I have inherited the dukedom. A marriage without my consent." The emperor, too, had his own difficulties. I did not wish for things to turn out this way either. Did you not come here to agree?" Suddenly, Caius asked a question that startled everyone. "What if I refuse this marriage?" The emperor, relieved, replied, "It is quite clear. If you do not marry Leticia, you must marry Lady Violet Everett." At these words, Caius was utterly bewildered. The emperor continued, relentlessly pressing him to change his mind. "Were you not anticipating this? Because you are acquainted with Duke Everett. If you disregard his ambition, you will soon be swallowed by it. He is the sort of man who will stop at nothing to get what he wants." Caius was about to object, but Leticia suddenly interrupted him. "He is right, Caius. I heard Duke Everett say with my own ears that he would have you marry Violet." Caius grew more incredulous as he listened. "What?" Leticia continued to explain. "If he has you marry his daughter, we have no grounds to refuse him. Duke Everett clearly believes you are too young to rule the dukedom alone. He will use the fact that the Voltaire family is a vital core of the empire to pressure you. I know this must be unsettling. I apologize for saying such things. This is the only way I can protect you." Then Leticia swiftly knelt, confidently proposing to Caius, "We will be like family. Caius, will you marry me?" Leticia held his hand, her expression deeply affectionate. Caius stared intently at the person kneeling before him, his eyes shimmering. Everyone anxiously awaited the outcome for this mismatched pair. Caius blushed, embarrassed. He averted his gaze in a fluster, stammering, "We cannot. I am too young. But this is to protect Voltaire." Witnessing this scene, the emperor laughed heartily, praising them. "You two are truly a match made in heaven." Leticia reminded him uncomfortably. Don't say such strange things. But the Emperor, still unable to contain his excitement, continued to push them together. I shall sign your marriage certificate right now. Let me cut the wedding cake. Leticia immediately turned and objected. There will be no wedding. We will only exchange vows quietly. Duke Everett will soon learn of my marriage to Caius. I am quite curious to see his reaction when he learns that Leticia has snatched Caius away. Duke Everett was speechless with rage. His hatred for Leticia deepened. After finally receiving the Emperor's consent, Caius and I went to the church so that both parties could arrange some basic wedding procedures. Leticia grumbled to herself. Without the clergy's blessing, this still isn't considered official. How annoying. To make the atmosphere in the carriage less tedious, she initiated conversation with Caius. It's more comfortable than I imagined. He asked blankly, what? Leticia laughed cheerfully. The marriage, Caius bluntly replied. I haven't done anything. So what's comfortable about it? We have to act like this so no one finds out? No guests, no confetti, no blessings, no banquet, and no wedding dress. Are you satisfied with this kind of wedding? Leticia answered with certainty. There's no rule that says you have to wear a wedding dress at a wedding, right? This is white too, so it's practically the same. I've always considered marriage and weddings to be momentous occasions. It's wonderful that we can become a family like this. Even if it's temporary, you're a part of my family now, and I'll definitely protect you from now on. Caius blushed again at Leticia's sweet words. You promise? The girl chuckled, amused, and asked, Of course. Shall we make a pinky promise? And so, the two linked pinkies, vowing to uphold their promise together. Caius confided, You're the only one who's ever made me do something like this. Leticia beamed. You liked it too, right? Then let's go fulfill our first promise. Her words left Caius extremely bewildered. What? No sooner had she spoken than the carriage suddenly lurched erratically, then lifted clean off the ground. Caius cried out in alarm. What's happening? Leticia calmly reassured him. It's all right, don't worry. I also guessed that those trying to stop the wedding would show up around this time. Leticia stepped out of the carriage and began to count. 1, 2, roughly 20 of them. How annoying. The bride and groom can't be late for their own wedding, right? Leticia's fighting spirit ignited. A short while later, the forest returned to its usual tranquility. The assassins had been dispatched to hell by Leticia. I was hoping for a bit more fun, but that was truly boring. She turned to inform Caius of the situation. Since the carriage is broken, we'll have to go on horseback for the rest of the way. Is that all right, Caius? He stood frozen like a statue, trembling with fear. They tried to assassinate me. Even when the assassins got close to me, I couldn't move. If you hadn't protected me, if I were alone. Seeing Caius growing increasingly frantic, Leticia shook him, calling his name sharply. You have to calm down. I told you before we left, Duke Everett would do anything to stop our wedding. Even so, I didn't expect him to send this many assassins. But there's nothing to be afraid of. No matter what anyone says, you're still the head of the Voltaire family, and your wife is one of the best knights in the world. So, all you need to do is make it clear to those who covet your things what their fate will be. Make sure they never dare to challenge you again. Caius seemed to absorb Leticia's encouraging words. Understood. Throughout the journey, they continued to converse. Leticia, if you want my things, I'll let it slide. The girl was puzzled. Shouldn't married couples share with each other? After an arduous and torturous journey, the two finally arrived at the church. The priest inside was startled when someone opened the door and entered. Leticia cheerfully announced, The groom, Caius Voltaire, and the bride, Leticia Celsius, have arrived. Seeing her dress stained with what appeared to be strawberry syrup, the priest couldn't help but ask aloud, Are you all right? The girl reassured him with a smile. It's nothing serious. Is the requested recording ready? The priest stammered, Why, yes. Leticia and Caius walked into the church. As she walked, she said, So all we have to do now is listen to the boring sermon. Hearing this, the priest immediately interjected, You dare call the sermon boring? It's an honor imbued with sacred meaning and holy procedure. Leticia, not particularly bothered, urged him on, Understood. Just hurry up and start. With her sixth sense, Leticia quickly sensed something was amiss. It seems some more bothersome people have arrived. If we delay any longer, there won't be anyone left here. Hearing such a warning, the priest grew even more flustered. So he immediately performed the ceremony. Groom Voltaire and bride Celsius swear before God to become a holy couple, forever thinking of each other. Caius whispered Leticia's name. The girl quickly turned to him and asked, Are you scared? Should I take your hand? Caius told her, not yet. Lean down a little. Leticia, bewildered, complied. And as she leaned down within Caius's reach, he placed his hand upon her cheek. Leticia had been wondering what he intended. The moment the priest read the words, "May you two vow to cherish each other with love," Caius placed a gentle kiss upon Leticia's forehead. He confessed softly, "I can't do much, but I can endure this much." Leticia said nothing, only smiled happily. "How lovely." The priest continued to read aloud. "And so, I pronounce these two to have exchanged their wedding vows." As if on cue, at this crucial moment, Duke Everett appeared, interrupting the ceremony. "Stop, Leticia." The girl, still smiling, addressed him. "Duke Everett, I didn't expect you to come yourself, but you're late again. Our marriage has been formalized through our vows." Duke Everett smirked cunningly. "What's the problem with that? If you don't participate, this vow will be annulled and terminated." Dozens of menacing swords pointed towards the two of them. Leticia spoke with a mocking tone. "Should I have mentioned this earlier? This vow also has His Majesty's witness. Surely you don't want to be accused of attempting to harm a duke and his wife." Duke Everett gritted his teeth in resentment. This damned recording. He began to criticize harshly. "You seduced a child 13 years younger than you to do this. Leticia, you're disgusting. He explicitly warned you to stay put, but you dared to step forward and handle things yourself. No wonder both you and J.E. Sweetmare were abandoned by J.E. Sweetpare." As soon as she saw his words cross the line, she began, "Really?" Before she could finish, Caius responded to him, "Regardless of whether my father abandoned me or not. At least I don't have to listen to such words from someone like you." Duke Everett asked angrily, "What did you say? Someone like me? How dare you look up to me?" Caius transformed into a different person. Every word he spoke was harshly refuted. "Look up to you? We are both dukes. Duke Everett, I will no longer be polite to you. I am not your son, nor a candidate for your son-in-law, much less a dog. I will not listen to your brainwashing." Caius's sharp words startled him. "What? How dare you?" Leticia, holding Caius's hand, walked past him, spitefully flicking her hand. "So, if you're not planning to give us a wedding gift, please step aside. Don't block the newlyweds' path." News of Leticia and Caius's marriage reached people's ears and appeared in the newspapers. Breaking news. Breaking news. Just in, Duke Caius Voltaire is married, and to a bride 13 years his senior. Caius Voltaire and Leticia Celsius have made the deal of the century. Everyone who read the news couldn't believe it. "Are you kidding me? That Leticia? No way. I didn't hear any rumors. I thought he would marry the noble lady from Duke Everett's family. What are they doing? Causing such a commotion?" At the Duke's mansion, Leticia woke up after a good night's sleep. "After finalizing a marriage contract, I finally moved into the Duke's mansion." The girl lay in bed, enjoying the life of her new status. "A luxurious bed is truly wonderful. From now on, I must act like a duchess. It will be easier to protect him when we're together. Besides, I don't remember what happened after I arrived at the Duke's mansion. I went straight to bed as soon as I got home because I was so tired. Fortunately, I took a week off in advance. I must have been exhausted because there was more than one or two things to worry about at the time. I haven't had a good rest in a while, so I must have slept for about 3 days. Suddenly, someone spoke from outside the door. "Madam, you're awake." The maid, Jessie, showed a bright smile to greet Leticia. "Did you sleep well? My name is Jessie. From today onwards, I will be Duchess Valentina's exclusive maid." "As you wish, madam." Leticia froze, still unaccustomed to the formal address. A wave of dizziness washed over her, a ringing in her ears. "Madam, it's correct, now that I'm a duchess, but it feels strange." Jessie continued. "Then, madam, shall we begin your meal?" Leticia interrupted. "Please don't. Could you call me by my name instead of Madam Jessie?" The maid quickly corrected herself. "I understand, Miss Leticia." She was drenched in a cold sweat, surrounded by stern-faced men before. Now she was attended by this sweet young girl. "Goodness, this is new. It's just, I accidentally recounted everything to her." Jessie chuckled. "Anyway, I'm glad you're awake. The Duke has been worried sick about you for the past 3 days." Leticia asked, bewildered. "Worried about me?" She sat pondering, lost in thought. 3 days is the average recovery time. So even then, Caius must have been surprised. It's the first time he's seen me sleep like that. "Jessie, still by her side, continued to recount the events that transpired while Leticia was slumbering. The chief physician said you fell asleep due to exhaustion. But the Duke was so worried, he came by this room every day for the past 3 days. Each day, he'd stayed by Leticia's bedside. Moreover, Caius had secretly prayed, "Please wake up soon, Leticia. You promised to stay by my side." Hearing this recounted, Leticia felt a surge of warmth. The past 3 days, I should go see Caius. At least I should thank him. Jessie hurried after her, stopping her. "Wait a moment, Miss Leticia. Are you going out in that state? You just woke up." Leticia asked blankly. "Huh? Why? I roam around the knight headquarters like this every day." Jessie chuckled, reminding her, "This isn't the knight headquarters, so let me help you change." Leticia instinctively covered herself, asking in a panicked voice, "What are you doing?" "It's all right, Jessie. I don't have any clothes anyway." As soon as she finished speaking, the maid wheeled in a clothes rack laden with various outfits for Leticia to choose from. "Don't worry. Although there aren't many, I've prepared clothes that fit Miss Leticia's size. Come on, don't refuse." Leticia broke out in a cold sweat. "When were my measurements taken?" The girl yelped, "I don't like this," and promptly jumped out the window, leaving Jessie with a look of utter shock. "Why didn't anyone tell me beforehand?" Jessie called out anxiously, "Madam, are you all right? The Duchess is unique, but she's a good person. Sometimes she jumps out of windows." Seeing Leticia slumped on the ground, Jessie rushed to her side. "Madam, are you all right?" Leticia abruptly stood up as if nothing had happened and walked away. "Yes, I'm fine. I'm going to see." Jessie was gradually getting used to Leticia's eccentricities. "I guess she does that when she wants something." When I told the Duke that the Duchess jumped out the window again, Caius was quite surprised. He simply sighed in resignation. "Just leave her be," Jessie always told herself. "She must be shy, right?" So I try to restrain myself. "What's her relationship with the Duke like?" It wasn't the romantic atmosphere of a newlywed couple, but more like a family. Can I even say that? At the dining table, Leticia always meticulously attended to Caius's every need. "Should I cut your meat for you?" "Caius." The girl acted like an older sister caring for her younger brother. "Why are you so nagging? You haven't even finished your soup." The two bickered like cats and dogs all day long. "Do I have to eat like you, piling food up like a mountain?" Leticia retorted. "How are you supposed to grow taller if you eat like that?" Caius stubbornly replied, "Stop bothering me." But even the thickest skin has its weakness. No matter how stubborn Caius was, he was no match for Leticia's persistence. "But for your health, you still need to eat properly. Eat my vegetables and meat." Everyone in the mansion was delighted to witness this scene. Even the Duke is making an effort to eat healthy. Aside from caring for the Duke in that manner, Leticia smiled and handed Jessie a notebook. "Take this, Jessie." Curious, Jessie asked, "What is this, Miss Leticia?" The girl enthusiastically explained, "It's the Duke's financial records. I've looked them over, and it seems there are some holes everywhere. I've marked them separately." Jessie's admiration for Leticia only grew. "You've looked through all of this and organized it so it's easy to read." Leticia had even reorganized the mansion's finances herself. Not only that, but she'd taken care of everything inside and out, noting areas of the mansion that needed repairs. One day, after finishing her work, Leticia approached Jessie. "I'm hungry. Let's go eat, Jessie." The maid replied with a smile, "Yes, Mississippi." Just then, someone approached. "I was told to give this to Miss Leticia. They said it's urgent." Leticia opened the letter, speculating as she read. "This doesn't seem to be from the palace or the knights. This seems to be related to the background information I was assigned to review on my uncle." After reading only a few lines, Leticia seemed to freeze. "Miss Leticia, your uncle, Baron Wilfred, has gone missing." Upon receiving this grim news, Leticia immediately went to her uncle's house. He usually lived alone, but there had been no word from him recently, and he had vanished without a trace. The royal detectives were investigating the matter based on reports from the mansion servants. Leticia carefully observed her surroundings. The room is clean. If someone broke in and tried to kidnap him, there would likely be signs of struggle. Suddenly, at her feet, a bullet casing lay on the floor. There are no signs of gunfire. Leticia picked it up and examined it. There's something engraved on it. She startled as she recognized the symbol etched into the casing. It's a blue rose. In this empire, only one group uses the blue rose motif. They're dark mages. Those bastards were here. Dark mages were those who delved into the 5 forbidden magics: creation of life, resurrection of the dead, immortality, destruction, and even time magic. While the idea of overcoming human limitations with magic was admirable, their inhumane experiments continued. Every empire had unanimously decided to ban dark magic, but the dark mages hadn't disappeared. They had fled and expanded their territory. Even the late Duke Voltaire was eliminated by a dark mage who infiltrated the army. Even right in front of me, those painful memories suddenly flooded Captain Leticia's mind. I remember, this is the magic bullet those bastards used on the captain. An annihilation bullet. When stabbed by an annihilation bullet, people truly vanish. It even absorbs sound, so it can eliminate its target without making any noise. So, if this casing is in the doctor's office, it wasn't a disappearance, but an annihilation. But why the doctor? He's just a poor, miserable bastard who wouldn't be involved with something as powerful as a dark mage organization. At least when it comes to gambling. Come to think of it, he said something strange when I mentioned his parents' passing. Wilfred had warned Leticia. Do you know who you've touched? You'll definitely regret it. From these things, she began to vaguely realize something. Could it be her parents' passing wasn't just an accident, but related to the Dark Mage organization? I have to find out about those Dark Mages. A few days later, at the castle, the Emperor announced some news to Leticia. We've discovered traces of the Dark Mages who have been quiet for a while. Leticia stood silently, pondering. They've hidden themselves well. We didn't even know where to start looking, but now they've exposed themselves. Leticia bowed her head and replied to His Majesty, I'll leave immediately. Seeing her seemingly rushed, he hurriedly stopped her. No, calm down. Listen to me first. She had to carve out some time to stay. All right, I'll listen, but I have to leave immediately afterward. The Emperor produced a stack of documents and began his explanation. They discovered a lake deep within the continent that doesn't freeze. It's suspicious, so they investigated further and found traces of dark mages. Leticia asked with a worried frown, Are those fiends conducting experiments again? The Emperor speculated, perhaps. She began to offer her own insight. The point is, there aren't just traces of one or two dark mages. It seems like dozens of them have gathered there. Whether it's an experiment or a mission, they're definitely planning something bigger. The Emperor was bewildered by Leticia's analysis. What in the world are they preparing? She placed her hands on the table, speaking sternly. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. This time, I'm going to make them pay dearly. The Emperor couldn't help but look at her with caution. Honestly, I'm worried Leticia is more unrestrained than the Dark Mages. Why are you so tense today? Leticia stood silently, pondering the possibility that her parents' deaths were connected to the Dark Mages. That's not something I can tell anyone right now. So, Leticia quickly fabricated an excuse for the Emperor. They are enemies of the Empire and the murderers of my captain. Just thinking about it makes it hard to contain my anger. If your Majesty permits, I'd like to begin preparations to leave immediately. The Emperor, to some extent, understood Leticia's feelings. All right, you have my permission to depart. Leticia left immediately after receiving the Emperor's command. As soon as she stepped into the hallway, she ran into a certain official who had been looking for her. Lady Leticia, I have something to report to you personally. I heard that Baron Wilfred has gone missing, so until the case is resolved, your substantial debt will be temporarily suspended. Leticia still didn't quite understand what she meant. By case resolved, you mean? Adeline carefully explained. As you know, according to royal law, if a creditor disappears, debt repayment is automatically halted. Furthermore, if they're missing for more than 10 years, they're considered deceased. In other words, as long as the Baron doesn't reappear, you don't have to worry about repaying the debt. Of course, after 10 years, the debt will be transferred to the successor. Leticia laughed, amused by the news. 10 years is plenty. Thank you, Adeline. I hadn't even thought of that. Actually, do you like me, Adeline? Leticia's bizarre question startled her. What? Oh, and one more thing. Leticia widened her eyes, asking again in confusion. Adeline continued. Once the mission is over, I'll submit a long-term leave request for you, so please be sure to rest for a full year. Leticia glanced at her, asking, So suddenly? Why? You're a workaholic too. Adeline stammered in response. We're quite alike, aren't we? You always chase dangerous missions like a moth to a flame. Just now you heard about that group of dark mages, and you immediately wanted to go to work. Now that your debt is temporarily suspended, suspended. At least take a break and do something else. More importantly, you're not alone anymore. You have a new family now. Back at the familiar mansion, during dinner, Leticia was lost in thought, tossing and turning the idea over in her mind. Adeline is right. I'm not alone anymore, so I can't live like I used to. But I can't give up this mission. Seeing Leticia so absent-minded, Caius spoke up. Is something troubling you? She answered with a start, no, nothing. Caius immediately pointed out her unusual behavior. Really? You're not usually picky about food. Haven't you made the chef sad? Leticia said awkwardly. It's not like that. She confided sadly. Actually, I have to go on a mission. Hearing this, Caius was even more shocked. What? Seeing his expression grow serious, Leticia forced a smile, explaining, it's to capture the dark mages. It won't be dangerous. I'll be back as soon as possible. Caius said bluntly, I don't believe you. I've never seen anyone keep that promise. Mom and Dad said they'd stay with me too, but in the end, they abandoned me. What if you disappear too? The moment he finished speaking, Caius hurriedly left, leaving Leticia desperately calling his name. Wait, she began to rack her brain for ways to persuade Caius. It hasn't been long since Caius lost his parents. I must not have been considerate enough. There's still time before the mission starts. I'll talk to him again. But afterward, preoccupied with preparations, while Caius was busy with his ducal duties, they barely spoke. The day of departure arrived. Jesse and the head chef stood outside, tearfully seeing Leticia off. Lady Leticia, please return safely. The chef had even thoughtfully prepared a meal for her. Madam, this is your lunch. Please take it with you. I'd hate to think of you having to eat terrible food. Jesse ran over and hugged her tightly, then burst into tears like a child. You can't get hurt, not even a little. Leticia, overwhelmed, didn't know what to say other than to thank them. I've only been here a month, and they're already so fond of me. Before departing, Leticia fiercely addressed her teammates. Is everyone prepared for the mission? Double-check your weapons, down to the arrowheads. Let's move. Swiftly now. Everyone responded in unison. Yes, Captain. Suddenly, someone came running breathlessly to announce, Captain, there's a big problem. He whispered the report in Leticia's ear. It's the captain of the Blood Moon Knights. Leticia could only sigh in exasperation. So by the Emperor's orders. As Enzo appeared, she realized with shock. What did you say? We have to take him on the mission. The subordinate replied, yes. According to the Blood Moon Knight's captain. Remembering the Emperor's gleeful expression back at the castle, Leticia trembled with anger. That damned Emperor. She glanced at Enzo and inwardly sighed. Dealing with dark mages is challenging enough, and now His Majesty expects me to go on a mission with someone I have a feud with. Leticia pointed at Enzo. This is our Silver Knight's mission. No matter what the Emperor says, I cannot accept this. I will go see His Majesty myself and formally refuse. Having you around will only be a distraction. Enzo finally spoke, addressing Leticia by name for the first time. He softly pleaded with her. Please let me join this mission. There's something I need to do. Leticia retorted coldly. That's your problem, not mine. How can I trust you not to disrupt my mission like last time? Enzo tried to persuade her at all costs. You don't have to trust me, but I swear I won't cause any trouble on this mission. I sincerely request you, please let me join this mission. Every member of the Silver Knights gaped at Enzo's actions in astonishment. What's going on? The arrogant captain of the Blood Moon Knights is bowing his head? Am I dreaming? Barton whispered in Leticia's ear, Captain, he's finally lost it. She nodded in agreement. It seems so. What could have made Enzo bow his head like this, and come alone without any Blood Moon Knights accompanying him? No matter how much I want to refuse, if I let this continue, he might take his anger out on Caius. After much deliberation, Leticia finally made her decision. I permit it, but don't misunderstand. It's not because I like you. This mission is dangerous, and we need all the resources we can get. Enzo glanced up and said, You only need to say you need me. No further comments are necessary. Leticia frankly shared with him. Even if you're a knight captain or the Duke's son, on this mission, you are my subordinate. If you disobey my orders, I will send you back immediately. Enzo replied seriously, Understood. I will obey. Leticia asked again, bewildered, You said you understood? He turned his face away and replied, Don't make me repeat myself. Leticia reminded him without hesitation. From now on, speak to me respectfully. If you continue to be arrogant, it will disrupt the hierarchy. You're already a captain, so you understand, right? Answer me. And Zodi, forced to lower himself, replied, Fine, I understand. Leticia, still irritated, pressed, What did you say? Resentment for Leticia's arrogance simmered within him, but disobedience was impossible. Swallowing his pride, he repeated, I understand, Captain. Leticia could hardly believe it. He actually said it. I thought his pride wouldn't bow to anyone. She recalled Enzodi's earlier plea. I sincerely request you allow me to join this mission. As if dealing with the dark mages wasn't enough, another thorn had appeared. After marching a considerable distance, Leticia called out to the company, Halt! À juste formation. Meanwhile, Barton hurried over to inquire, Is the captain of the Blood Moon Knights causing any trouble? Leticia replied, So far, he's been cooperative, but he doesn't seem to want to speak to me politely. Not a single word. Suddenly, a subordinate hurried over to report, Captain, we've received word from the scouts. They've detected enemy movement. Having grasped the situation, Leticia began to deploy her plan. All right, everyone, take your positions. As you all know, today's mission is to eliminate the dark mages. While I infiltrate their base at the bottom of the lake, Barton will block the forest entrance outside and capture anyone who tries to escape. Make sure not a single one gets away. Hold your ground. Barton immediately acknowledged the order. Understood, Captain. A shout rang out, Advance! The entire army heroically marched out, ready to begin the arduous battle. Leticia called Barton back, saying with a smile, Let's both make it back alive. He looked utterly perplexed. Why so sentimental? That's not like you. Leticia replied innocently, I just suddenly felt like saying it. Barton turned his head, answering, I'm not worried about you, but be careful nonetheless. Leticia, with a proud look, replied, Definitely. Hidden behind a nearby tree, Enzo secretly observed Leticia. As soon as he saw everyone begin to leave, he turned and headed in another direction. A fierce and arduous battle ensued, retreating, then advancing, taking cover, and carefully dodging the magical bullets they fired. According to His Majesty's intelligence, their forces were vast. To think they built such a large base at the bottom of the lake. If they were preparing an offensive, things would become even more difficult. We have to deal with them swiftly before they come to their senses. It would be more helpful if Barton were here, but he's stationed outside, so he can't do anything. I can't let anyone escape. From the doctor's disappearance to this dark mage attack, everything seemed to be falling into place. Amidst the heartbreaking battle, Leticia still smiled confidently. This is troublesome. Maybe I really should take Adeline's suggestion and rest after this battle is over. Fire. The fire from within the castle began to burn more fiercely. Smoothly resolving things with Duke Everett to keep Caius out of danger might be a good idea. Then, perhaps I'll find someone more worthy than me for Caius. Someone his age, gentle and sweet. And then, maybe I'll try growing safflowers myself. Some pretty flowers wouldn't be bad. The battle raged for hours. Strawberry syrup splattered everywhere. Leticia's entire body was stained crimson. It seems everything here is almost settled. Some of her comrades had fallen on the battlefield. There must be some still hiding within the base. I'm the only one who can move now. I guess I have no choice but to go in alone. And so, Leticia slowly entered the bizarre castle. As soon as she entered, she heard voices. This isn't fair, sir. Our plan wasn't supposed to be like this. Why the sudden change? Leticia tried to peek and see who it was, a dark mage. He was speaking to someone hidden within. Another voice echoed, causing her to panic. I wonder. Leticia instantly recognized the familiar voice. It was Enzo. He told the dark mage, This was my father's plan, not mine. Leticia was even more bewildered. Why was Enzo involved with the dark mage? The dark mage reacted sharply to Enzo's indifferent attitude. How can you say such an irresponsible thing, sir? Leticia racked her brain, but couldn't find a reason for him to be with the dark mage. She continued to eavesdrop on their conversation. The dark mage said something shocking. You told us to follow Duke Everett's plan. A knot of unease tightened in Leticia's stomach. Duke Everett's plan? Had he volunteered for this mission to secretly meet with the dark mages? At least as a knight captain, I thought he was loyal to the Empire. A traitor? Enzo asked sternly. Since when did my father and I become the same person? The dark mage was put on the spot. But, sir, suddenly, a skillful blade, seemingly appearing from nowhere, sent the dark mage to meet his ancestors. In nick of time, Leticia revealed herself. Enough, Enzo Everett. You have to explain this situation. If you have a legitimate reason for being caught red-handed with a dark mage, then speak up. After all this, can you still call yourself a knight of the Empire? And Zodi thought inwardly. Things had gotten complicated. He glared and replied, "This is hard to believe, but I was trying to stop the dark mage." Suddenly, the ceiling began to crack. Everything shook violently, giving Enzo a bad premonition. He turned frantically to Leticia. "Damn it, we need to talk outside. We have to get out of here," she asked, panicked. "What if you're trying to escape this situation with these ridiculous excuses?" Enzo turned back, only to see a pile of rubble collapsing right where Leticia was standing. He thought she had logged out of this world, but no, she was still safe and sound. "Where am I?" I realized Enzo was related to the dark mages. Shortly after, the ceiling collapsed. I thought I logged out, but why? Why are he and I still alive? Leticia anxiously looked around for clues. This place feels really strange. At the bottom of a lake without a single trace of debris. It feels like an infinite space, as if time is distorted. Even though we've been falling for a long time, I don't feel any hunger or pain. Could this be a space created by dark magic? If that traitor knows anything about this situation, but even after what felt like hours or days had passed, Enzo was only breathing, his eyes still closed. His condition hadn't changed at all from the beginning. This definitely had something to do with some kind of time-based dark magic. The problem was, I haven't found a way out yet. Leticia swung her sword uselessly at the void. I wonder how things are outside while I'm trapped here. Are my knights safe? His Majesty doesn't know about the connection between Duke Everett and the Dark Mages. The Silver Knights waiting outside must be looking for me, and Caius too. I promised him I'd be back soon. No matter what Leticia did, nothing worked. She gradually felt helpless. Am I going to be trapped here forever? And my brother and Caius, as she lay there in despair, a sudden beep rang out, making Leticia wonder, what was that sound? It feels like something is behind me. Sure enough, a squashed lizard pinned beneath Leticia was trying to signal for help. She was utterly astonished. Another creature in this space besides Enzo and me? She grabbed the lizard's tail and lifted it up. Where did it suddenly come from? The lizard started to cry and shed tears. Seeing this, Leticia became gentler towards it. I must have hurt you by lying on you. I'm sorry, stop crying. Please stop crying. Who knew Caius's handkerchief would be used like this? But where did this lizard come from? I just noticed something now. If it came from outside, then Leticia tried asking a few questions. Hey, little lizard, do you know the way out of here? It just stuck out its tongue and flicked it. Seeing this, Leticia could only guess. It doesn't understand what I'm saying. Suddenly, the lizard left Leticia's arms and started to scuttle away. After a few steps, it turned its head and gestured to her. It understood, so Leticia quickly hoisted Enzo onto her back. Hold on, I don't want to take this guy with me, but I have to punish him or something. Let's go together. Leticia followed the lizard's guidance. This way, that way. Lizard, what should I call you? Since you're black, how about Kamanji? Kamanji. After fumbling around for a while, Leticia finally saw light filtering through a crack. She tentatively touched it. This must be light from outside this space. If that's the case, thank you for showing me the way. Kamanji, I'll continue from here. I finally found a way out. Leticia's energy fiercely reignited. At Duke Valter's mansion, a subordinate kept asking Caius, "Sir, are you still going to the lake today? I heard that after Madame disappeared, all the collapsed headquarters of those dark mages were searched. The knights even dug up the lake, but they found no trace of her. So, I think it's time to stop searching. It's been 10 years. The 8-year-old Duke Valter had grown into a tall, handsome young man. About 10 years ago, Caius was about to go out when a voice called out, "Duke, it's cold outside. If you catch a cold, Madame will be worried when she returns. News of victory will come soon, so go inside and wait." In the end, Caius complied. All right. One morning, he saw those people return. Caius wondered, the Silver Knights? Is Leticia back? He rushed down, seemingly unable to believe what was happening. Not a word. At this moment, Caius really wanted to scold her. He even thought he should prepare a meal with Leticia's favorite dishes. Caius ran to Barton without hesitation and asked where Leticia was. But Barton regretfully said, "I'm sorry, Duke. The captain went missing during the struggle with the dark mages." This was a bolt from the blue, leaving Caius stunned. Barton continued, "We are coordinating with the Royal Knights to search, but there's no sign of her. We believe she was caught up in the dark mages' conspiracy." However, Caius didn't believe these words. Leticia promised me. She promised to protect me. She will definitely come back. She won't leave me alone. Therefore, Caius always held onto the belief Leticia will definitely return. After that, Caius began to search for Leticia himself. He thought if she was hit by dark magic, she might be wandering around without her memories. Therefore, it was necessary to post missing person notices throughout the entire territory and track the dark mage's movements. But even after a year or two, a long time passed, and there was still no trace of Leticia. On the contrary, due to the open search, the disappearance of the royal knights became almost certain. Criminals, including dark mages, began to run rampant. They captured ordinary people, then yelled at them, threatened them, and tortured them. Leticia, are you really dead? You're not, right? You're not the kind of person who dies easily. You're late, but I'll forgive you. Hurry back with that fearless smile. I'm strong enough to protect you now. The lingering sadness couldn't be extinguished. Just then, a voice called out, Duke, Marquis Blatt sent a letter. The letter read, Greetings, Duke Vaulter. I heard that you saved my precious daughter from danger last time. To express my gratitude, I would like to invite you to dinner next week. Now you can forget about the previous Duchess and consider someone new. After reading the letter, Caius fell silent. Then he tore the letter to shreds and told the servant, Tell the Marquis that I will attend if my wife allows it. This puzzled him. Your Grace, you just returned. Were you going so late? But Caius simply repeated, I'll be back later. Don't wait for me. Leticia had been missing in the Empire for 10 years. If someone goes missing for 10 years, they're considered deceased. But Caius never believed it. He still couldn't accept that Leticia was dead. Just then, the outer wall suddenly cracked, greatly surprising Caius. Then, a familiar figure appeared. It was Leticia. She looked at him, relief flooding her voice. I finally escaped. Seeing the person he had searched for so long right before his eyes, Caius couldn't help but feel astonished. But before he could ask what had happened, Leticia collapsed in his arms. The next morning, at Duke Vaulter's mansion, Leticia awoke, wondering, where am I? This place looks familiar. But what is this? Why am I chained up? Are those dark mages at it again? Just then, Caius spoke. It's no use. Those are chains specifically designed to restrain dragons. And he asked Leticia, so, were those dark mages planning this time? Caius unexpectedly moved closer to Leticia, mockingly smirking. The same face, Captain. How could a dead person still be alive? Caius couldn't help but doubt his senses. So he asked Leticia, those dark mages, did they successfully create a cloning technique? Or a resurrection spell? Using such shallow tricks, Leticia was bewildered. No, it's different. The face and hair are the same, but it's a completely different person. The insolent personality, though, is identical. Leticia opened her mouth to call out Kai, but impossible. My husband is much shorter and much more lovable. Hearing this, Caius sulkily turned away. A foolish girl, not worth the bother. He was certain he'd heard her say Kai. Immediately after, a servant came to report. We have changed the clothes of the person brought back, Your Grace. The clothes she was wearing were a Silver Knight uniform, and this handkerchief is familiar. Hearing this, Caius stopped the servant. Say no more. I will interrogate her myself. He wanted to believe it was true, but this wasn't enough to be certain. However, if she knew about the flower, back in Leticia's confinement, these chains were uncomfortably sturdy. She had been trapped here for 3 days. This familiar place was definitely Duke Vaulter's mansion. Aside from the meals delivered regularly, Leticia knew nothing of Caius's whereabouts or the identity of that man. Contacting anyone else was impossible. Was this another trap by the dark mages? If this truly was Duke Vaulter's mansion, Leticia believed she would be able to see someone she knew. Just then, someone entered the room and addressed Leticia. My lady, do you not recognize me? I am Chelsea. This surprised Leticia. What? The Chelsea I know is much younger. Have my memories been altered by that dark magic? Leticia was astonished. If this is Duke Vaulter's mansion, then where is Caius? So she said to Chelsea, I haven't seen him at all. Chelsea was confused. What are you saying? It was the Duke who brought you here. He even visited you 3 days ago. Hearing this, Leticia was astonished. That man was Caius? This was hilarious. Not only that, but she also heard Chelsea say something shocking. Of course, the Duke has been searching for you ever since you disappeared 10 years ago. At this point, Leticia couldn't believe it. I thought only a few days had passed, but it's been that long. Now Leticia understood what had felt strange all along. It was also easy to understand why someone would be suspicious of a person who disappeared 10 years ago and now reappeared with the exact same face. But 10 years. Wait, what about my brother, Ludio? Leticia's immediate urge was to see Caius and demand answers. She resolved to go to him at once, but then she realized she was bound. These wretched chains. Why would he have me bound? Just then, Leticia wondered, where's Kamanji? He arrived with the key and freed her. Thank you, Kamanji. I can't just sit here and wait. I have to see Caius. Where on earth? The moment she stepped outside, Leticia gasped. These flowers, they all have white petals and pink stamens. How can such a flower exist? Just then, Caius's voice rang out, because they were created with dark magic. Leticia turned, astonishment flooding her features. Caius continued, ever since you disappeared, the dark mages have been quite active. I've been hunting them down, and every time I catch them, I offer them a deal. If they can perfectly recreate the flower I desire, I'll spare their lives. Do you know the name of this flower? But there was no way Leticia wouldn't know. This is the Leticia flower, a flower my parents created specifically for you. Only my family knew about this flower, my parents and Ludio. And there's one other person who knew as well. That's right, my little wife. Caius, is that you? Hearing his name spoken aloud brought a flicker of pleasure to his face. Leticia, you recognize me? That's unbelievable. You've grown so much. Also, do you know what happened to Ludio and the Cott family? At her words, Caius's brow furrowed. Are others more important? It would be nice if you considered the people you abandoned. Where are you planning to go now, Leticia? You should stay with me. Hearing this, Leticia wondered, what's wrong with growing up? Caius continued, we don't need these fake things anymore. Fire. Suddenly, Leticia gasped. This child won't listen to me at all, will he? You. If this continues, everything might become irreversible. While there's still time, then, Leticia abruptly smacked Caius on the head. Stop talking nonsense. Come to your senses, will you? The sting of the blow brought Caius back momentarily. What are you doing? Leticia's voice rose. Caius, I know you were worried because I didn't come back, but that's no excuse for forcing yourself on others, abandoning them, mountains of flowers. If the head of the family acts like a madman, the rest of the family will worry too. Caius was utterly taken aback. Are you nagging me? How dare you be so brazen? I didn't raise you like this. Simultaneously, something seemed to click within him. How long has it been since someone nagged me? The only person who ever spoke to me like this was Leticia. Now I understand. I'm so happy to hear Leticia's heartfelt nagging after all this time. A smile spread across Caius's face. You really haven't changed at all, Leticia. Even after 10 years. Honestly, I still can't believe you left me, lived somewhere else, and then luckily ran into me. I was afraid you deliberately left me because you didn't like me and that you weren't dead. That being married to a child was humiliating, so you left me and went somewhere I couldn't find you. Some people said. Leticia immediately refuted. Nonsense. That's not true at all. Caius conceded. I know you wouldn't do that, but during the 10 years without you, I kept hearing those speculations. I was afraid they might be true, so I couldn't properly face you. Hearing this, Leticia felt a pang of sympathy. I promised to protect you, so that would never happen. I'm sorry for making you wait 10 years, Caius. You suffered all alone. He suddenly looked embarrassed. Are you praising me? Then, he took Leticia's hand in his grip firm. Pat my head. Should I bend down? Leticia felt a blush rise to her cheeks. How did he get so tall? Caius suddenly said to Leticia, tell me what you've been up to until now. I want to hear it. This made her hesitate. Should I tell Caius what happened back then? She wondered how I hunted those dark mages and got trapped in some distorted space until I finally found a way to escape. 10 years have passed since I got out. So, Leticia changed the subject. How much longer do I have to do this? This kid must have been tiny not long ago, and suddenly he's grown so much, so it feels a bit strange. It feels like I'm lecturing a stranger. Caius suddenly said to Leticia, do it some more. You hit my head, it hurts. This made her angry. If you're being serious, what have you been eating to make it so hard? Then Caius took the initiative. Let me see. Look, it's even redder than mine. He unexpectedly and sweetly kissed Leticia's forehead. Seeing her dazed expression, Caius quickly explained, you said it was cute when you were laughing at the wedding. But that was when I was little. Now I've grown up. I'm 18. However, Caius affirmed, 18 is still young. Hearing this, Leticia suddenly felt tired. I really feel like I've done something terribly wrong to you. 10 years is a long time. A lot has happened while I was gone. Hearing Caius say this, Leticia immediately asked, what else happened? He calmly replied, first, let me tell you what you're most curious about. Baron Coyote is fine, and your younger brother is fine too. Leticia suddenly felt relieved. But is that all? Is everything else not okay? Almost as soon as the Empire's two pillar knights disappeared, all sorts of criminals started acting as if the world was theirs. The dark mages also took this opportunity to gain power. The entire empire fell into chaos because of them. Countless ordinary people were lost. Hearing this, a feeling of guilt suddenly welled up in Leticia's heart. If I had properly dealt with those dark mages, if I had eliminated them during the mission, I could have prevented this. It's all my fault. Caius immediately reassured her. It's not your fault, Leticia. This is something no one could have predicted. If anyone is to blame, it's the dark mages who caused this disaster, because they created the chaos monsters. Hearing about them, Leticia immediately asked, "What are chaos monsters?" Caius was about to answer, but before he could open his mouth, someone hurriedly shouted, "Duke, chaos monsters have appeared in the territory." Caius immediately ordered, "Make sure to evacuate the people first. I'll deal with them." "Yes, Duke." Then he turned to Leticia and said, "You'll understand better if you see it with your own eyes. Let's go together. I'll protect you." Luckily, there didn't seem to be many people around, as it was almost dinner time. Most of the nearby residents had also been evacuated. This was also unexpected for Leticia. But time really flies. Caius suddenly turned around and asked, "Are you uncomfortable somewhere?" "No, I'm just impressed by how skillfully you hold the reins. You used to cling to me whenever you rode a horse." Hearing this, Caius immediately said, "That was a long time ago. Come on. Let's hurry before it gets dark." Leticia suddenly sighed. "You suddenly grew up so much all by yourself. I still don't know how to feel about it. It's so complicated." After a while, the voice rang out again. "Duke, chaos monster." This way, seeing what was in front of her, Leticia was unconsciously frightened. "What is that thing? Terrifying, isn't it? That's a chaos monster. But how do you deal with it? It seems like the usual methods won't work." Caius also confirmed, "That's right. It's faster and stronger than other monsters. It would take about 10 knights to handle this one." "Leticia, can you step back a bit?" Hearing Caius say this, Leticia couldn't help but ask curiously, "Are you planning to deal with that thing alone?" "Oops, I accidentally said it too loud," she thought as the chaos monster reacted violently. This panicked Leticia. "Caius," she cried, "we need to create some distance." But he comforted her. "If you're so worried, how about we make a bet? If I kill that thing, you grant me a wish. Marriage, for example." Caius spoke as he fired at the monster, causing it to shriek fiercely. Caius suddenly smiled. "Right, we're already married." Leticia immediately retorted, "Didn't you say it takes 10 people to deal with something like this?" "Yes, if they're ordinary knights." "Have you forgotten your husband is Duke Vaulty?" But even so, Leticia still felt something was odd after Caius' shot. She was certain it was magic. Before that, back at the mansion, she had felt a similar sensation. But 10 years ago, Caius couldn't use magic, right? Even with money, Duke Vaulty didn't have any magic. Everything is so confusing. So Leticia immediately asked Caius, "How can you use a magic gun?" Caius confidently replied, "Like I said, dark mages were rampant while you were gone. I hunted them down. In the process, I awakened some of their abilities. Just a little. I might be the only dark mage who can use that magic gun. It's the result of a lot of effort." Hearing this, Leticia thought, unlike mages born with magic, getting an ordinary person to use magic is like telling them to learn to breathe underwater. What has he been through all this time? Suddenly, she heard the monster's growls. "It's still moving. That's strange. It's not dead." Leticia was flustered. "Impossible. It survived a shot to the head." Caius confirmed, "That thing won't die just from shot to the head. There's a separate point, destroying which will instantly cause its death. The core, usually in the head or the heart." Leticia finally understood. "So we just need to destroy the core." It sounded simple enough, but Caius was very serious. "Do you understand what I just said? On any level?" Leticia suddenly dashed forward with lightning speed. "If it's not in the head, then the only place left is its heart." Caius hadn't expected Leticia to directly attack the monster. With terrifying destructive power, he immediately ran over and asked Leticia, "Are you alright?" This surprised Leticia. "Are you worried about me?" "I'm fine. We hit both its weak points, so it's dead now, right?" But Caius was puzzled, because it usually takes 10 knights to handle. Leticia retorted, "That's for ordinary people. Have you forgotten I'm the mad dog of the battlefield? I am hungry. Let's go back and eat." At this point, Caius was certain, "This is Leticia. In the 10 years you were gone, I thought I had become strong enough to protect you. Somehow it feels unfair." But this made Caius smile more genuinely than before. These past few days, a maid mused, "The Duke seems to be in a good mood, doesn't he? He hasn't stayed at the mansion much since the madam disappeared, and we've never seen him smile." But now, he's not only strolling in the garden, people are even saying he's been smiling. What changed his mood? Then the maid replied, I'm not sure if his mood changed, but something definitely changed his appetite. Think about it. He's been finishing everything in one meal. Just then, Chelsea appeared, asking them, good work. Did you bring the food? Afterward, Chelsea said he would handle the Duke's meal, so the two of them could leave. Before leaving, Chelsea overheard them discussing with worried expressions. Finally, as he pushed the food cart inside, Chelsea wished the madam a pleasant meal. Thank you, Chelsea, Leticia cheerfully replied. Caius unexpectedly asked, how long do you plan to keep hiding? But Leticia was currently more concerned with the delicious food in front of her. Caius reminded Leticia, you're supposed to be considered dead. Remember, 10 years have passed, so there's still a chance someone might recognize you. If that happens, it'll cause a commotion. Leticia continued, it's best to stay hidden in times like these because things have changed over the past decade. But Caius disagreed. Or should we live in seclusion for the rest of our lives? I can guarantee you'll have everything you need without lifting a finger. Can't we just live peacefully together now, Leticia? I don't care about what's happening outside, but the moment you reappear, the whole world will have expectations of you. You'll be forced to fight the dark mages again. I'm afraid you'll disappear again. I could only watch you leave when I was young, but if I work harder now, you won't have to be involved anymore. Leticia, you can finally rest now, can't you? But she bluntly replied, I don't want to. Living like this is suffocating. Caius finally had to give in, reminding her, you're being too hasty. However, he couldn't help but feel uneasy. You're still thinking about saving others, aren't you? Caius suddenly noticed a special news item about Ire. Around Ire, he finally revealed his concern. As soon as Leticia asked about Ire, Caius dismissed it. He's just someone insignificant. But Leticia knew better. You're lying. Your expression just now showed you were worried. Let me see. The greatest knight of this century, Baron Ronhila, has announced his intention to participate in the competition. A name Leticia had never heard before. Then Caius said, he's just someone who gained some fame while you were gone. He's not worth worrying about, really. But Leticia pressed, didn't they say he's a very famous knight? They also said he actively hunts dark mages. He's your rival, and he's quite good-looking. Hearing this, Caius hurriedly snatched the newspaper back. I told you, he's nothing special. Leticia turned to Chelsea and asked, is there something going on between Caius and this Gila fellow? It's because of the competition. It seems like he doesn't like Baron Gila participating. Because of this, Leticia was even more confused. Caius explained, that competition is to choose the new captain of the Silver Knights. Hearing this, Leticia was shocked. What? They're choosing the captain through a competition. They've never done that before, have they? Usually, the position is handed over by the emperor or the previous captain. These speculations were correct. There is usually no reason to hold such a competition. But Caius said, the position of Royal Knight Captain, even though you disappeared, your name is still brought up. So, they've left the position of Royal Knight Captain vacant for 10 years? Wouldn't it be more logical for His Majesty to personally bestow the title on someone at a time like this? However, bestowing the title to choose a new knight captain would mean officially acknowledging Leticia's death. His Majesty and the Silver Knights don't want to accept that you're dead. Leticia finally understood. They've been waiting for me to come back for the past 10 years. Caius added, the Blood Moon Knight squad replaced their captain immediately, a month later. That's Igmi Kirilate. At this point, Leticia felt it was a miracle the Empire hadn't collapsed. But why did they replace the Blood Moon Knight squad's captain? I feel like I've forgotten something. I completely forgot he was also trapped in another dimension. Caius, what did you do to Andrew? The one who was with me. You didn't leave him there, did you? You're really worried about him, right in front of me. If it's him, you don't have to worry anymore. I took good care of him. Leticia then asked, where is Andrew now? There's a place like a dungeon prison in the Vaulty duchy. After that, Caius took Leticia directly to see Andrew. Seeing him lying on the ground, Leticia panicked and worried. Anxiety, he lay there unconscious. How could this have happened to him? Had he still not awakened? Leticia wondered aloud. Caius, I understand why you imprison Anxiety, but he's just a sick man. Caius replied, I know. I've already called for a tight-lipped healer to examine him. His injuries weren't serious from the start, and most of them have already healed. However, no healer can figure out why he won't wake up. Leticia stepped closer. Let's lay him down carefully first. Is it because he was trapped in the space created by the dark mages? Caius suggested, why don't we just throw him in front of Duke Everett and leave? Leticia retorted, no, he's crucial to uncovering the connection between Duke Everett and the dark mages. Caius asked, surprised, what are you talking about? Leticia lowered her voice. 10 years ago, when I went to eliminate the dark mages, I accidentally overheard him secretly talking with them, saying that the dark mages were following Duke Everett's plan. Caius, shocked, speculated, so this guy's part of their conspiracy too? Leticia replied, I'm not sure myself. He's not the kind of coward who would surrender to trap me. He's not someone who would voluntarily jump into a trap set by the dark mages. Maybe he can help us. Caius continued, indeed, Duke Everett's son disappeared, but he hasn't even tried to look for him. Ever since he promoted Igni to commander, he's been acting like he's waiting for something. There might be a split within Duke Everett's faction. As you said, the Dark Mages and Duke Everett joined forces. That bastard probably knew about the coming age of chaos, even though he's one of the Empire's principal families. No wonder he always seems to be one step behind when it comes to matters related to the Dark Mages. He never intended to solve the problems they caused from the very beginning. He might even want things to get worse. Leticia spoke up. What if we use this truth in reverse? Caius murmured, if only we had some concrete evidence proving Duke Everett's connection to the Dark Mages. No matter how much influence he has, you could stop him immediately. Hearing this, Leticia sighed helplessly. If only we had some concrete evidence. Once Anxiety wakes up, we'll be able to provide concrete evidence. But I'm not sure if that guy will cooperate with us. We need more evidence, so he can't escape. Caius nodded. Yes. Damn. This isn't easy, Leticia continued. Before I heard your story, I didn't even suspect a connection between Duke Everett and the Dark Mages. Seeing him walking around so confidently all this time, I thought he was confident he wouldn't be caught. Caius nodded. Yes, that's because everything, including your and Anxiety's disappearance and presumed deaths, was part of his plan. But from now on, I won't let things go according to the Duke's wishes. After some time, as they walked down the hallway, Leticia spoke up and asked, what do Duke Everett and the Dark Mages want? Caius countered, do you want to understand why the two of them allied? Leticia replied, no, I'm not looking for past reasons. I want to know what they're trying to do now. Regardless of how much of this world becomes theirs after the entire empire collapses because of the chaos monsters, what does that even mean? Mages will do anything for their own benefit, but does Duke Everett really want that? Two completely different people joining forces. At least it means their goals are aligned. Caius asked, Duke Everett is a power-hungry man. Is he trying to use the mages to aim for the throne? Leticia suddenly asked, is His Majesty safe? Caius replied, you don't have to worry about that right now. On the contrary, His Majesty's approval rating has actually increased compared to before. Hearing this, Leticia was extremely surprised. What? Caius said slowly. Given the current situation, His Majesty is working hard to protect the Empire. His response to shadow magic has also been very quick. Leticia nodded. His Majesty has been ordering the suppression of the Dark Mages. Ever since this all began, the Duke and I have been told to prepare for the future, Caius mused. He's using mages to aim for the throne. Thanks to that, we were able to establish an advantage in international relations during the early stages of the chaotic monster's emergence. In this continent-wide chaos, His Majesty's actions were quite bold. He was the first to promote a national alliance. Many nobles opposed it at the time, Leticia pointed out, but most of the countries that didn't form an alliance with us back then have collapsed. She thought to herself, the other nations have limited information regarding shadow magic. Caius continued, ultimately, His Majesty was right, and Duke Everett, he usually ignores His Majesty. He must be uneasy about this sudden change, so he's been silent for a while, Caius finished. Leticia murmured, he must need time to rethink his plans. I don't think His Majesty will just let it be. Duke Everett is a very strategic man, Caius agreed. If another unexpected variable appears, one of his shortcomings will be exposed, and then you'll be able to find evidence. Leticia replied, in that case, Duke Everett's fall isn't far off. Just in time, the biggest variable is here, Caius declared. The scene shifted to the next morning. The vice commander's shouts echoed through the castle. Guards flung open the doors and exclaimed, Vice Commander, you're amazing. What's going on? Why all the commotion? This man was Barton, the vice commander of the Night Corps. A guard, holding a stack of documents, shouted, "I heard you're entering the competition. Earl Aaron Harris." Barton replied coldly, "I've already heard, that bastard." The guard was surprised. "You already knew? Then I guess you'll be facing him as the vice commander." Barton said indifferently, "Because everyone who comes here says so." He continued, "Well, Aaron Harris, it said he rose from the bottom and earned the title of Earl with his own skills. They say he appeared like a comet, called the greatest knight of this era." "What a ridiculous statement," Barton scoffed. "No matter what anyone says, the greatest knight of this era can only be Commander Leticia." After a moment of thought, he added, "Don't worry, I'll never be overshadowed by a newcomer." The guard hesitated, "But there's something even more important. The Duchess of Vaulty submitted an application to participate in this competition." Barton was extremely surprised. "What? You mean the Duke of Vaulty is participating personally?" The guard shook his head. "No, they'll be sending a family member as a representative." Barton asked suspiciously, "A family member?" He thought to himself, the Duke of Vaulty himself must know the meaning of that competition. The commander's death is being manipulated. This is a competition for that position. It's obvious that this position was created to weaken her standing. Even if you participate personally, it's still not enough. How dare they send a substitute representative? Barton suddenly stood up and asked, "When is the exam?" The guard replied, 3 days from now." Barton realized, only 3 days left. "You said I would see you alive again, Commander. You should keep the promise you made." The scene returned to Leticia, diligently practicing her swordsmanship. She thought, there's still time before the exam, so I want to visit the Circe's family. It's been a long time after all. Just then, Caius appeared, calling out, "Leticia, you're here." Leticia asked, wondering, "What's wrong?" Caius said in a low voice, "There's something I haven't told you yet. It's about your brother." Leticia asked in surprise, "You mean Lydios? Are you crazy? Before I returned from the battlefield, I often exchanged letters with him through the butler, and I heard he was doing well. What in the world happened during the 10 years I was missing? Besides, I was told the Circe's family was still safe." Caius replied, "That's not something that happened in the past 10 years. It started a long time ago. Even the letters from Lydios that you received were fake." Leticia's eyes widened in disbelief. "What are you saying? All eyes? Then what happened to Lydios all this time? Tell me the truth," Caius said, the words catching in his throat. "Your uncle, Baron Wilford, has been abusing Lydios." Leticia recoiled, horrified. How could the next head of the family do such a thing? He constantly drilled into his younger brother's mind. "Your sister, because of someone like you, who isn't even blood-related, will have to live her life in the gutter." Poor Leticia. "Lydios, you're a monster who devoured your parents and your sister." "Poor Leticia," Caius continued, his voice heavy with sorrow. After being tormented for so long, Lydios finally lost his mind. The Vaulty family is helping with his treatment, but the boy just lives in torment, constantly saying, "I'm sorry, it's my fault, I didn't mean to." It seems like it will take a long time for him to recover. "I'm so sorry, I didn't realize sooner," Leticia said, taking his hand. "No," Caius replied, "it's not your fault. As a sister, I didn't even realize it myself. On the contrary, I'm truly grateful to you, Caius, for looking after my brother." Caius answered, "Of course. Your family is like my own. I should have visited the Circe's estate sooner." A while later, Leticia stood gazing at the castle in the distance, consumed by remorse. "How could I not have known my brother was being abused like this? It's not your fault. I want to tell him we can live together now, but I can't face him. I'll wait until he's a little better. I should get going." Just then, someone bumped into her shoulder. "Who are you?" Patrick asked suspiciously. Leticia was surprised. "Patrick? What is Uncle Wilford's son doing here at this hour?" Patrick gave an evil smirk. "Ah, I see. Judging by the look on your face, you must be another creditor come to collect debt." Leticia thought, did Uncle have to inherit debt as well? Patrick continued, "Seems like the perfect time to collect. That lunatic sister must have finally kicked the bucket. After holding out for 10 years, I'm going to make sure I get every penny back with interest, until that lunatic croaks." Hearing this, Leticia flew into a rage, grabbing his shirt. "Come with me." Overpowered by Leticia's strength, Patrick could only resign himself to being dragged away. "Let go of me," he yelled. In a swift motion, Leticia threw him to the ground. Patrick, turning over with a flicker of anger, demanded, "Do you know who I am?" "Shut your dirty mouth." Leticia snarled. "How dare you speak such nonsense in front of me?" Patrick instantly trembled, muttering, "It's Leticia, a ghost." Leticia quickly stepped forward and delivered a cold kick to his hand. "You were quite bold just now," she said icily. What's going on? Your father tormented a child to madness, and you come running back after 10 years to collect debts? I want to kill you both 10 times over. Well, your father's already dead, but I need to confirm a few things before I send you to the other world. Patrick asked tremblingly. What is it? Leticia began. Your father, a long time ago, my parents. She didn't finish her sentence. A monster suddenly appeared behind her. Recognizing it as a chaos monster, Patrick fainted in terror. Leticia cursed under her breath. Why now? The Circe's family estate is nearby. I can't let it go in that direction. I have to lure it into the forest. Thinking quickly, she shouted, Monster, can you catch me? Leticia scanned ahead, calculating. There must be a cliff around here somewhere. Not here. Did the terrain change in the past 10 years? I only brought a dagger because I was only going to be out for a little while. I have no other choice. Head or heart? Please be the heart. Will this even work? At that moment, the dagger successfully struck the monster, causing it to shriek in pain. Damn it! Leticia exclaimed. I missed. What now? Suddenly, the monster was pierced through. The unexpected turn of events left Leticia utterly surprised. Caius appeared, asking, Leticia, are you all right? Secretly relieved, Leticia thought, thank goodness, Caius is here. Caius quickly approached, asking, are you hurt? I told you to at least carry a weapon. What was that sword? Leticia answered blankly, I don't know. It just flew over. Just then, another voice spoke up. Are you two all right? Leticia, upon seeing the newcomer, was secretly surprised. That face. I've seen it before. Caius clicked his tongue. What are you doing here, Aaron? Aaron smiled gently, offering a greeting. Ah, Duke Vaulty. I heard there was a chaos monster, so I rushed over. Are you unharmed? Leticia struggled to search her memory. Aaron Harris. That name sounds familiar. Ah, the greatest knight of this era, Earl Aaron Harris. Isn't he the one I saw in a newspaper recently? It seems he's quite famous, and his personality seems good too. At that moment, Kai stepped forward, shielding Leticia. I'll handle things here. You go take care of the monster's remains. Aaron gave an awkward chuckle. It seems I still don't know that person. Caius replied bluntly, Indeed, it's someone you don't need to know. Aaron turned, a smile still on his face. As you say. Then, I'll take care of the consequences. Farewell, Caius retorted. Vanish. Quickly. Leticia sighed inwardly. How strange. But my husband, he really does have a terrible personality. Caius quickly led Leticia away, questioning her. Leticia, why did you come all the way here? Didn't you clearly say you were just going to check on the Circe's estate and return? You didn't even bring your sword. What were you planning to do if something serious happened? No matter how strong you think you are, were you planning to challenge a monster barehanded? Leticia countered with a question of her own. Are you angry? Caius hesitated. Apologies, I'm not angry at you. It's just that Aaron Harris suddenly appeared before you. Leticia thought to herself, Aaron Harris, he seems like a polite person, but Caius is extremely hostile towards him. Is there something between them? Thinking this, she voiced her question. About him, do you dislike him? At the same time, Caius asked Leticia, is he handsome? Leticia's face froze. What? Caius asked suspiciously. Why are you stuttering? Do you like that guy? Are you planning to leave me for someone else? Is he good looking? Letty's expression stiffened. Kai questioned, his tone full of suspicion. Why are you stammering? Do you like him? Are you thinking of leaving me for someone else? Leticia realized. His eyes look like he's about to go crazy again. She placed a hand on Caius's shoulder. What are you talking about? Caius replied, his face dark. The way you're denying it, it sounds like you really are in love with that guy. Indeed, that idiot is still delusional. Leticia retorted, hey, I really said no. How could I love and flirt with someone I just met today? Besides, I'm already married to you. Caius said, his face flushed. Everyone seems to fall for him at first sight. If you don't love him, then forget it. Leticia sighed inwardly. What's going on? Seriously, when did he start caring about appearances? Thinking this, she moved closer to Caius, offering comfort. Don't worry, you're more handsome in my eyes. Caius replied. Why are you saying something so obvious? Leticia couldn't help but retort. You're really arrogant. Elsewhere, Aaron was dealing with the monster remains when he heard someone call out, Earl Harris. He responded, what is it? The black-clad subordinate hesitated. Actually, while dissecting the monster, we found this. Aaron was slightly surprised, recognizing the object as a dagger. He picked it up, asking again, you're saying this was found inside the monster? The subordinate confirmed, yes, it was pierced into the monster's heart. Is it yours, sir? Aaron shook his head. I use a long sword, and Lord Vaulty uses a spear. Unfortunately, It's not ours, the subordinate said. Then it's likely poisoned, so I'll immediately incinerate this dagger. Aaron stopped him. Wait a moment. He thought about it. Besides Lord Vaulty and myself, there's one other person. I think I know who the owner is. Soon, the day of the Silver Knight Commander selection exam arrived. The shouts of the crowd echoed. Get in line. It's not every day you get special skewers. The first round is about to begin. Get inside. Try betting on who will win and become rich. I'm betting everything on the Earl. Heh, I heard too many people are betting on Lord Harris, so the odds are low. Well, whoever it is, they have to be better than that incompetent Red Knight commander. Didn't he abandon a child and a pregnant woman and run from a monster not long ago? Yeah, it's a good thing Earl Aaron Harris happened to be nearby. Just imagine, that man was the Red Knight's commander. Hey, watch your words. A passing girl overheard and thought, he's just like that. By the way, I'm even wearing a wig, so no one recognizes me. It turned out the disguised girl was Leticia. Caius appeared beside her and asked, you seem happy. Did you hear something interesting? Leticia shook her head. No, nothing special. Caius smiled smugly. Really? I thought you'd have heard that story by now. Leticia wondered, what story? Caius continued. Someone insists they saw a person who disappeared 10 years ago, whose body was never found. But since that person is always unreliable, no one believes him. Leticia said, that's kind of funny. It looks like the first round has already started. Let's go in so we're not late. As she looked up at the stands, Leticia was extremely surprised. Barton is standing there now. He quickly knocked someone down. The winner of the first round is Barton. Leticia smiled proudly. That guy, he's grown a lot since I last saw him. Soon, a name was called in the arena. Knight Leticia of the Vaulty Dukedom. Leticia walked onto the stage with a serious face. Now it's finally my turn. Just then, Caius called out to her, Leticia, you know I'm not worried about you at all, right? The people below began to whisper. They say the Vaulty Dukedom is participating in the competition. Leticia? That's a name I've never heard of. Look how small she is. This match will probably be over quickly. Leticia was entering the arena. Her opponent was one of the winning candidates of this competition, the blonde Malik from the Blonde Duke Will. Malik said disdainfully, I don't want to face a child like this. Bring Lord Barton or Earl Harris to me. Leticia covered her ears, inwardly cursing. So noisy. He wants to die by my hand. She scoffed. Hey, don't you know the rules here? Don't you know you have to defeat me here to face those guys in the second round? You're this stupid, and you want to be the knight commander. Malik's face stiffened. What? Stupid? He swung his hand angrily and rushed towards Leticia, cursing, you'll pay for that. Brat! Leticia calmly blocked the attack and asked with a cold laugh. What's the matter? You're putting on a good show, but you're not strong at all. The people below were in an uproar. How did she knock down Malik's sword with her strength? Soon, the announcement rang out. The winner is Leticia of the Vaulty family. Leticia coolly walked off the stage. Malik lay on the ground muttering, I can't believe. How? Leticia asked with a smile. Are you shocked a rookie won? After that, Leticia continued to win. Every match, the citizens of the Empire began to notice the knight named Leticia. Leticia, hearing them call her name, felt embarrassed, thinking, this isn't difficult, but everyone's making such a fuss. By the way, that guy Barton, he's been strangely impatient from the start. In the end, he didn't even show half his true skill. The person entering the finals is Earl Aaron Harris. Leticia wondered, why is he so impatient? What should I do? All right, it's time for the long-awaited finals. Leticia said to herself, don't worry, Jesse, I'll get revenge for you. Earl Aaron Harris versus Leticia of the Vaulty Dukedom. Aaron, seeing her, asked, are you going to wear a mask this time too? Leticia coldly replied, yes. Aaron suddenly grinned. Leticia wondered, why are you smiling? Aaron said, including you, only 2 people have talked to me like that, right from our first meeting. Leticia thought, who is he talking about? Is he talking about Caius? Aaron continued, his gaze intent on Leticia. Watching you, I can sense you possess incredible talent. Leticia drew her sword, her voice cool. Don't expect too much. The referee's call rang out, and the match began. Leticia thought, Aaron Harris, it seems you're not my final opponent without reason. You're the fastest and most accurate opponent I've faced in this competition so far. Their swords clashed, a sharp ring echoing through the arena. Aaron gave a faint smile. As expected, he said, this is quite the challenge. Barton was a tough opponent, but I believe I'm a step above him. However, Leticia thought, her grip tightening on her sword, Caius has waited 10 years for me. The knight commander position has been vacant, with no captain during that time. I can't afford to lose. The announcer's voice boomed. The winner is Leticia of the Vaulty family. The crowd below erupted in cheers. Wonderful. Knight-sama, please show us your face. Leticia's thoughts were a whirlwind. Until recently, I was ridiculed as a battlefield lunatic. Caius stepped forward, his expression unreadable. Congratulations on becoming the Knight Commander, Leticia. How does it feel? He asked, his voice low. Time flies. The Silver Knight Commander appointment day. The appointment ceremony is about to begin. Walking towards the ceremony, Leticia pondered. It's been a while since I've been to the Imperial Palace. Around her, the whispers continued. The winner is the new Knight Commander? What is she saying? She defeated Earl Harris in one go? Duke Vaulty nominated that night, so her skills must be genuine. Father, a voice said nearby. Everyone seems quite interested in the new Silver Knight Commander. They're making such a fuss. Leticia recognized the speakers. Duke Everett and his daughter, Elida Everett. Then, the crowd bowed respectfully. Your Majesty, above them. The Emperor thought, Duke Everett. I'm starting to suspect he was right when he argued with me before. Duke Everett's earlier words echoed in his mind. Your Majesty, you must sever ties with other nations. How can you be ignorant of state affairs? How can the people trust and follow your Majesty? The Emperor cursed inwardly. He's shamelessly bold. Everyone knows the Red Knight Commander is connected to the Duke. I just want to appoint someone worthy as the Silver Knight Commander. This is the first time I've seen this person, but the voice sounds familiar. He commanded, Leticia, raise your head. Seeing her masked face, he was astonished. Someone beside him immediately bristled. Such a disrespectful knight. You dare to remain masked before his Majesty. The Emperor, however, wasn't angered. He raised a hand. Stop. He inwardly assessed Leticia. What an interesting girl. Leticia bowed her head and knelt. I swear to be your Majesty's loyal sword. The Emperor's thoughts drifted. For some reason, she reminded me of her. Thinking this, he said, my sword. I could trust a sword, but I don't trust people. Why do you think I would trust you? Leticia cursed inwardly. It seems even in a situation like this, the desire to joke is strong. Thinking this, she said, I believe in your Majesty. As your sword, I believe you will use me justly. Surprised by her words, the Emperor burst out laughing. It seems a brave one has appeared after a long time. Leticia continued, I will not run away from the battlefield, like others. The Emperor nodded, then asked, however, do you intend to continue wearing that mask? Leticia replied, if your Majesty wishes, I can remove it. But if I remove my mask, your Majesty may not believe me. The Emperor chuckled. It's not difficult for me to wield a sword when I don't even know its identity. Whatever face lies beneath, I will trust you. Now, remove your mask. As soon as he finished speaking, Leticia quickly removed her mask. She declared, Silver Knight Commander, Liberty Vaulty, I have returned after completing your Majesty's mission. The Imperial Palace erupted in uproar. Liberty? The former Silver Knight Commander? But hadn't she been reported missing 10 years ago? Violetta and her father froze, their faces masks of disbelief. How could this woman? My father clearly said she was dead. How is she still alive? Leticia, too, quickly glanced at Aaron, a shiver of fear running down her spine as she inwardly sighed. Those eyes, just like 10 years ago, as if he could see right through her. At that moment, Kai stepped forward, his voice ringing out. Liberty, it's so wonderful that you've returned. I've been waiting for you. Leticia feignait de surprise. Then, the two embraced warmly. Whispers rippled through the onlookers. The Duke and Duchess, reunited after 10 years. How touching. No wonder the Duke never even glanced at all those proposals. I heard Princess Everett kept visiting. Aaron's father approached Violetta, his voice stern. You've disappointed me again, Violetta. This is precisely what I feared. Duke Vaulty has only grown stronger in his solitude. Your brother couldn't even kill that bastard's damn dog and ended up dying alone. And you couldn't even seduce a man who lost his wife 10 years ago. Both of you are useless. Aaron trailed after him, fear etched on his face. Father, I was wrong. Please, give me another chance. Leticia glanced at the two of them. Suddenly, Caius addressed her. Liberty, you needn't concern yourself with others, for you're the main character now. Congratulations again on becoming the Silver Knight Commander, Liberty. The Empire's citizens showed immense interest in the Knight Commander's return. Countless interview requests poured in from numerous newspapers. Breaking news. The missing Silver Knight Commander has returned, back from the dead after 10 years. However, voices of concern also arose. Even after 10 years in the clutches of the Dark Mage, Is everything truly all right? Has she not been brainwashed? Finally, two soldiers approached Leticia, their voices demanding. There have been reports of the commander using dark magic in the vicinity. This is dangerous, so we request your cooperation. Leticia was taken into custody for investigation purposes. She thought to herself, it seems I'll be in handcuffs frequently. For some reason, Caius called out from behind her. Liberty, do you remember what I told you before? Leticia replied softly, yes. You said you would pile all suspicion on me and link it to the dark mage, correct? She nodded. That's right. Since there's no real evidence anyway, I'll be released soon. Leticia responded with dissatisfaction. But I feel unfairly treated. Can't I escape? Caius offered comfort. If you truly don't want to become a criminal, please try to endure. I'll get you out as soon as possible. Leticia pouted, muttering, he says that, but it's already been 3 days. When are you coming to rescue me? I can't stand it anymore. It's so boring here. Should I just break out of this dilapidated prison? Seeing Leticia acting strangely, a man in the neighboring cell cautioned, Miss, you can't just leave this place in such an agitated state. Leticia wondered, who are you? She thought to herself, this prison holds those involved in dark magic. Even an insignificant-looking old man can't be ignored. She spoke, are you a dark magic user? The old man rapped her head with his cane, scolding, hey kid, where did you learn to talk like that? It seems you've been unreasonably arrested and brought here because you're disliked by those pompous nobles. Are you trying to cause trouble with someone who's also imprisoned? Leticia asked. Were you also brought here unreasonably? The old man stroked his beard and sighed. Well, I actually worked in a dark mage's lab. Leticia was extremely surprised to hear he worked in a dark mage's lab. Leticia asked again excitedly, Sir, is what you just said true? The old man rapped her head again. You impudent little brat. The way you speak. Leticia began softly. Elder, did you truly work in a dark mage's lab? The old man nodded. Yes. A long time ago, when they were building the base by the lake, I started working there. Leticia thought to herself, if it's the dark mage base by the lake, that's where I led the Silver Knights attack 10 years ago. The old man shuddered, recounting, I still vividly remember. I was almost thrown into those terrible experiments. Leticia wondered aloud. But that base collapsed 10 years ago. I heard almost nothing remained. The old man laughed. That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm glad I was transferred to another base before that happened. Leticia's interest peaked. Another base? Where is it? She pressed. The old man replied. That place is... I'm hungry, so I can't remember. Leticia scolded him angrily. Hey, how can you stop at the most important part? This damned prison. Leticia turned around to find Duke Everett standing behind her. Duke Everett smiled coldly. Leticia, I have an offer for you. Leticia crossed her arms. You can meet with prisoners at will. I'm guessing you bribed the guards. Duke Everett gave a faint smile. You're tense. Don't be so alert. I haven't installed any items related to dark magic here. Leticia smiled back. I didn't expect you to mention dark magic first. It seems your relationship with dark mages is pretty good. Duke Everett's deep voice resonated. Talking to someone who knows everything is a waste of time. Leticia thought to herself, her face cold. He knows I suspect him, and he still decides to reveal himself so boldly. What's his intention? Duke Everett stepped closer. I'll be blunt. Do you intend to join hands with me? Leticia was extremely surprised. How could he suddenly make this offer to me? Duke Everett raised his hand, repeating, I'm asking if you want to help me. Join the ranks of the Dark Witches. Leticia recalled Caius's words. Leticia, among magic tools, some are processed to look like ordinary goods. Be careful if anyone displays any suspicious behavior, as they might be using dark magic. You wouldn't even know. She speculated, seeing as he keeps touching that gem on his tie, it's highly likely that's a magic tool. If so, it could serve as evidence to arrest them. Thinking this, Leticia asked arrogantly, Do you think I'd fall for such tricks? You're basically telling me to betray my country. Duke Everett chuckled. Don't think so negatively, Leticia. You've already betrayed your pride, your life, even your family for money, haven't you? You know my goal is to ascend the throne, right? Leticia coldly scolded. Shut up. Duke Everett continued. Evil is nothing. Impotence, weakness, and stupidity are the true evils. I intend to purify the world tainted by evil. Leticia asked again, So you want me to cooperate with the Dark Witches? Duke Everett replied, They are excellent researchers. The world that hinders their achievements is wrong. The world is making a fuss, saying their experiments led to the deaths of thousands of innocent people. It's just a small sacrifice unavoidable for intelligent and powerful people. You're powerful too, so you'll understand. Leticia said, so, if I cooperate with you, what will I get? Duke Everett countered. Is your heart not stirred at all? Leticia replied, it's kind of like you said, I'm strong, right? But there are a lot of people who barge in without knowing anything about each other. I'm tired of being taken advantage of everywhere. Duke Everett triumphantly slammed the table. I knew it. If you cooperate with me, you could do anything you want. This includes bringing your deceased parents back to life. Leticia angrily hid her trembling hands beneath her feet. He dared to mention her deceased parents. Duke Everett raised his hand to the stone on his tie. You just need to say one word. From now on, you will follow me, help the dark witches. With just one declaration, you can rule over everyone. Leticia opened her mouth. I will. I think you're a piece of trash. Duke Everett hadn't expected his seemingly successful plan to go awry. He angrily scolded, you barbarian, how dare you be so rude? Leticia, holding a stone in her hand, replied with a smile, can't think of any other way to defeat me, can you? So much so that you have to resort to using such a magical tool. Duke Everett stared at his empty neck in shock, gritting his teeth as he demanded, when did you? Leticia began. You clearly stated you hadn't installed any tools related to dark magic, didn't you? Evil is nothing. Impotence, weakness, and stupidity are the true evils. I wonder who the fool here is. A moment later, Duke Everett irritably stalked off. He muttered, damn it, I didn't expect her to recognize that type pin. Damn it. Suddenly, a voice called out from behind him. What's going on? Duke Everett? Someone as arrogant as you actually came all the way here. Too dark, mages appeared before him. Duke Everett recounted. That bitch recognized the magic recording stone and took it, even though she shouldn't know anything about magical tools. Perhaps Duke Vaulty is behind this. He's taken so much from us already. What should I do now? The mage replied, don't worry. The people dealing with that guy are already prepared. Anyway, we just need to buy time. There isn't much time left before our plan is discovered. The scene then shifted to Caius's castle. Leticia excitedly stretched her shoulders, saying, there's no place like home. I didn't expect Caius to cause a ruckus at the nobles' meeting to release me. Then she quickly noticed Comanche crawling towards her. She picked him up, saying, sorry for leaving you behind. I didn't forget you. Yeah, my bad. Should I stroke you? She thought, this guy. I guess he took good care of himself, even when I wasn't around, eating well. But I feel like I've forgotten something else besides Blackie. Just then, someone arrived. Leticia greeted, hello, Barton. Barton immediately and fiercely drew his sword, demanding, you dark witch, how dare you impersonate the commander? Leticia jumped back, scolding, I'm going crazy. Everyone's calling me a dark witch. Let me speak first. Listen, you need to fix that hot temper of yours. That's how you got captured by Aaron. Her eyes, I see. Are you crying? That hurt. Was I a bit too harsh? Barton sat trembling on the ground, muttering, that intensity, that speed, that sharp beat. You really are the commander. Leticia scolded. Don't judge me like that. Caius suddenly appeared, asking, so what's all this about? Barton resentfully said, I really hate you. I waited for you every day for 10 years for you to come back. Leticia nodded. Yes, I understand. So stop crying. Caius, don't just stand there staring. Try to pull him away. Caius said, easy peasy. Then he turned and called out, Jesse, come here. Leticia wondered, why is Jesse suddenly being mentioned here? She suddenly realized, wait, I think Jesse likes Barton. Should I show them this scene? Jesse quickly appeared, asking, did you call me Duke? Leticia thought, just as I predicted. She explained, Jesse, Barton, Jesse angrily walked up to Barton and demanded, this guy, what are you doing here? Because you lost the match yesterday. I comforted you all day. Why are you causing a ruckus here again? Barton explained, I'm not causing a ruckus. I just wanted to. Commander. Jesse dragged him away, saying, stop bothering Lady Liberty. Get out of here. Leticia dazedly witnessed this scene. She said, are they dating? Caius replied, they're married. For 7 years now. Leticia was shocked as the reality of being missing for 10 years truly hit her. At that moment, Caius extended his hand to her, saying, things are somewhat stable now, so you should rest too. It's been a tiring day for both of us. Looking at the messy room behind her, Leticia thought, it seems I can't rest in this room. Leticia was led by Caius to another location. She wondered, Caius, this is your room, right? Caius crossed his arms and asked, so where do you plan to sleep? Leticia honestly replied, the living room. Caius asked again, are you a guest? Leticia shook her head. No, Caius said in a deep voice. Then you should sleep in my room. Hearing this, Leticia silently thought, he's grown up, hasn't he? I heard he's been living alone for 10 years. I guess he wants to be with me since it's been so long. Thinking this, she decided, all right, I'll sleep here today. Caius, your bed is really soft. You should lie down quickly too. You said you were tired. Caius looked at her, thinking, so be it. He approached and asked, I just wanted to make sure, but is it okay for you to sleep with me? Leticia replied, yes, I can sleep anywhere. Even with you here, I don't feel uncomfortable. If you feel uncomfortable, I can go downstairs. Caius, unexpectedly, had already gotten into bed. It's fine. Go to sleep. Is it because I'm naturally strong, or because I've been on the battlefield since I was young? Caius wondered, asking what's wrong. Caius turned to face her, thinking she doesn't have any weariness or anxiety toward a grown-up man. He began, nothing. Leticia looked at him, touching her head in confusion. She laughed and asked, what's wrong? It tickles. Caius thought, perhaps she doesn't even think of me as a husband, let alone a man. I know because we're family. She accepts everything I do. But if you keep accepting everything like this, I'll start to get greedy. I don't mind being hit hard later. Just let me get a little closer to you. Just as the two were about to get intimate, the lizard appeared. Leticia sat up and asked, Comanche, what's wrong? Holding her head, Leticia muttered, I should have grilled that mischievous lizard a long time ago. Leticia wondered, why is he acting like this all of a sudden? Comanche, did you see something scary over there? That's where the Imperial Palace is. The Imperial Palace is now engulfed in flames. Loud screams for help are echoing everywhere. Leticia and Caius quickly ran over and asked, Barton, what happened? Barton immediately reported, Commander, a chaos monster attacked the Imperial Palace. Fortunately, the monster has been dealt with, but the frequency of monster appearances has been increasing lately. It feels like we're getting closer to some kind of ominous sign. I'm so scared. Screams rang out again. Damn it, what is it now? Caius wondered, did these people drink something together? Why is it so messy at night? Leticia reminded him, Caius, shut up. Seeing that Caius actually shut up, the maids were surprised, unable to believe that Duke Vaulty would listen to anyone. Then, Leticia said, anyway, it seems another monster has appeared, so let's go deal with it. Caius, go with Barton to the east and deal with the monster. Caius wondered, what? What about you? Leticia replied, I'll go west with Comanche. Caius frowned. What can he do? Leticia left, saying, don't worry about me. See you later. Barton also turned to leave, calling out, Your Highness, let's go. Caius nodded. All right. Meanwhile, Leticia asked Comanche, where do we have to go? She thought. Caius said he couldn't help, but no one is better at finding the way than Comanche. Plus, I feel stronger when we're together. Soon she saw it. Leticia drew her sword and asked, you, head or heart? Then she walked over to the monster's corpse, thinking, I tried to finish it in one go. I feel lucky. Just then, Comanche cried out again. Leticia also realized, oh no, there's another one. Fighting in the air is really difficult. At least I'm glad it's not too big. I can chop it in one slash. Falling at this speed, at least a few bones will break. Unexpectedly, Leticia fell into a rather soft place. You're too reckless. I'm glad you weren't hurt. The person who caught her and spoke was Aaron. Your eyes, Aaron began. It's an honor that you still remember me. I suppose, Leticia said perfunctorily. It's getting late. What about the other monsters? Aaron replied. Most of them have been dealt with. I'll take care of cleanup, finish off the corpses. Leticia turned to leave, thinking, best to get back before any unnecessary misunderstandings arise. She said politely, all right, then I'll take my leave. Aaron called out, startling her, wait. He handed over the knife from the other day, asking, you might have dropped this item. Leticia recognized it with a flicker of surprise. The dagger? Isn't this the one I used when facing the monsters near the Circe's estate? She wondered. How'd you come to have it? She asked. Aaron said, honestly, I found it during cleanup. I'm returning it to you, Leticia. Suddenly, a voice interrupted them. It's rude to address the Duchess in such a manner. How dare you? Aaron's lips still held his usual smile. Seeing Caius, Leticia was a little surprised. Aaron raised his hands with a smile and said, my apologies, Lady Leticia. The duel the other day was so impressive that I misspoke. I simply intended to return the item I found. Above all, my intuition told me that the heart of such a large monster. Caius raised his gun and asked, why didn't your intuition tell you its owner's life was in danger? Leticia admonished him. Caius, enough. Caius reluctantly withdrew his gun. Leticia pulled him away, saying, "We're leaving. Please take care of the aftermath." She thought, "We need to leave quickly before Caius starts up again." After walking for a while, Leticia spoke. "Caius, I don't care when you use dark witch weapons, but you shouldn't aim them at other people." Caius said perfunctorily, "Understood. I won't do that again." Leticia spoke again. "To be absolutely sure, attacking with ordinary weapons is also not allowed." "Why aren't you answering?" Caius said, "It seems Comanche is sleepy. Shouldn't we go to sleep quickly?" Leticia chuckled. "Riley." He changed the subject. Caius then picked up Comanche and looked at it. "But this fellow's appearance has changed, hasn't it? Look here. Its scales have turned white." Leticia was surprised. "What? Let me see." Caius asked, "Is it something like shedding skin?" Leticia shook her head, replying, "It only appeared just now. Perhaps it was injured when I fell." Caius then asked, "You fell? Aren't you hurt?" Leticia replied, "I'm fine. When I fell, Aaron's eyes caught me." Caius asked again, shocked, "That guy? You mean he caught you?" Leticia nodded. "Yes, it was a long way down, but he caught me firmly." Caius's jealousy flared up again. "That guy." The White Knight of the Leticia Chronicles returns. Missing for 10 years, the Dark Witch finally returned like the light. The White Knight defeats the Chaos Monsters. Duke Vaulty and the Duchess's love, a love that has waited 10 years. Looking at a pile of news articles, Patrick shouted angrily, "So annoying. Why is everyone so eager to praise that bitch? They think I'm crazy, saying I saw a ghost. How can I get revenge on Leticia?" Just then, a servant came in and called him, "Master, there's a letter for you." Patrick wondered, a letter from whom? The servant handed it over, replying, "The sender's name isn't written on it." "Ah, the sender also sent this." Seeing so many gold coins, Patrick was stunned. What kind of letter is this that the sender would give so much money for? The contents of the letter read, "Invitation to participate in Damn Dog Hunt. Need weakness. Reward tripled after success. Burn the letter after confirmation." Patrick thought, if it's a damn dog, it could be Leticia. Also, I remember seeing this rose seal in my father's office. I've really hit the jackpot. I know her weakness best. Back at the Imperial Palace, Leticia listened with a tired smile as the Emperor said, "This is quite amusing. It feels like I've gone back 10 years. Are you really Lady Leticia?" Leticia replied wearily, "I've answered that question 17 times already. Please stop asking." The Emperor laughed heartily, replying, "Seeing you speak to me so comfortably, it seems it truly is you." Leticia inwardly cursed. "Barton, how did you recognize me because of that?" The Emperor spoke again. "Let's end this tearful reunion and talk business. I've examined the magic stone you mentioned regarding Duke Everett. If the voice recorded in the gemstone is real, he will become a continental criminal, but that won't be easy. Instead, he can counterattack, claiming the voice was manipulated. I need more concrete evidence. Has Enzo not woken up yet?" Leticia replied, "He's receiving treatment at the manor, but unfortunately, there's been no progress so far." The Emperor sighed. Nothing ever goes smoothly. At that moment, Leticia said, "Your Majesty, I know someone who can help." The Emperor wondered who. Leticia answered, "I'm talking about the prison where I was held. There's an old man there who worked in a dark witch's laboratory. Please investigate that old man." Meanwhile, Caius, perched in a tree, thought to himself, "That's the last one. I should go back now. My shoulder hurts too much. It must be the magic gun causing problems. If Leticia finds out after you stay the night, she'll worry." In the direction where Leticia was, surrounded by people, she said, "Thank you so much for saving us. You are our benefactor. It's amazing how quickly you handle the monster. I can't believe I'm actually meeting the White Knight commander I've only read about in the newspapers." Caius secretly laughed, realizing she's embarrassed. She looks scary when she's fighting, but at times like this, she looks like a normal person. He also quickly saw Aaron standing next to Leticia and whispering something. Caius gritted his teeth, scolding inwardly. Why is that guy always hovering around Leticia? It makes me want to shoot him. But he remembered Leticia's instructions. He shouldn't shoot people. Just then, Caius also called out, "Caius, where are you?" She sounded a little startled. Seeing Caius sitting in the tree, she wondered, "What are you doing up there? Did something upsetting happen?" Caius pouted, replying, "No, I'm feeling fine." Leticia groaned. "What happened?" Thinking about it, she also jumped up. She began, "Just like when you were little, whenever something happens, you run off somewhere. Caius crossed his arms, replying, "So you followed me without permission, right? You want to pull me down again, don't you?" Leticia said, "No, there's no need for that. You've grown up." Caius immediately said, "No, I'm not mature enough yet. I'm 3 years younger than you, so don't think about leaving me behind." Leticia said, startled, "Wait, don't move, or the branch will break." Caius hugged her, saying, "It won't break at all like this." Leticia sighed. Such a childish act for someone so grown up. She then said, "If you're feeling better, let's go down." Just then, Caius's shoulder pain flared up again. Leticia asked sensitively, "What's wrong?" Caius hesitated, hiding it. "Nothing." Leticia immediately supported him, saying, "It can't be nothing. Let me see your shoulder." Caius couldn't stop Leticia. As expected, seeing the revealed bruised shoulder, she frowned, asking, "Why is your shoulder like this?" Caius tried to hide it, saying, "I told you it's nothing." Leticia scolded angrily. "What's with you saying it's nothing since earlier? Before I take everything off and check one by one, tell me with your mouth right now." Caius immediately replied, "Wait." Leticia, calm down. Leticia, he becomes fierce in strange situations. Then Caius said, "You know, those that have been appearing recently have increased in frequency. It's just that I used a magic gun for a long time, so it caused this." Leticia immediately asked, "So you forced yourself without treatment?" Caius, enough. You've done enough. You don't have obligations as a knight, and you're busy with your ducal work, too. Caius retorted, "What about you? Will you continue to deal with dangerous monsters? Do I have to stand and watch again?" Leticia explained, "That's not what I meant. Right at that moment, the lizard crawled out again." Leticia realized, it seems the chaos monster has reappeared. "Caius, I'll take care of this, so you should go to the hospital first." Caius immediately followed her, saying, "I'm still okay, you know. Let's go together." Leticia pushed the lizard back in, asking, "You usually listen. Why don't you listen at a time like this?" "Comanche." Caius immediately replied, "Stop asking Comanche. Why don't you just say it directly? I can hear you anyway." Leticia answered, "I'm saying this so you can hear me. Let's go. It's definitely this way." Caius immediately scolded. "This guy, Comanche, came all the way here and fell asleep." Leticia replied, "Leave him alone. He's probably tired from helping all day." The ground beneath their feet suddenly trembled. Leticia realized this tremor is... She immediately shouted, "Caius, watch out. It's below. This thing is huge. Is it the one that attacks from underground?" The monster suddenly attacked near Caius. Caius raised his gun and cursed, "You damn monster. It's returning to the ground." Leticia quickly ran over and asked, "Caius, are you okay?" Caius shook his head, replying, "I just got a small scratch." Leticia then held out her hand, saying, "Let me help you." Caius brushed her hand away, saying, "I told you I'm fine. It'll smell my blood and chase after me, so don't come near me. You'll be in danger too. I'll handle this myself." Leticia scolded, "Are you crazy?" "Absolutely not. You have to ambush this kind of opponent through cooperation." Caius said, "That thing moves faster than you think. It's too disadvantageous for you, who can only attack at close range." Leticia then replied, "It's all right. I just need to attack its core faster than it moves." Caius reminded her, "Leticia, you saw too. Even though I shot it, its movements didn't change at all. Its body is much harder than the others. This won't be easy, so don't get involved. I'll be the bait." Leticia then objected, "That's too dangerous. Besides, your leg is injured." Caius stubbornly replied, "I can move well enough, so it's fine. More than anything, there's no time to worry about that now. At that thing's speed, it'll reach the village soon." Leticia couldn't argue with those words. She clenched her fists, realizing, "That's right, we have to stop it before it does any damage to the village. I can't let Caius fight alone." Thinking, she said, "I'm saying this again, you can't do this alone. Let's work together. I have a plan. Like you said, that thing will smell your blood and chase after you. That's our chance. Lure it to the ground." "Soon," Caius called out, "provoking it to come here, you bastard." The monster did indeed pass by. Caius realized, "Now, thank you for obediently following me all the way here. After this, block the hole, cut off its retreat. What will happen if there's nowhere to escape? It's running deeper into the forest. Everything's according to plan. Now it's Leticia's turn." Leticia quickly spotted it, thinking there it is. Caius cornered it well. Dealing with an opponent whose weakness has been exposed is easy. Taking it down, she thought, compared to its huge size, it moves pretty well. If it hadn't been careless, things could have been dangerous. Now, let's get back to Caius. His shoulder, and now another wound on his leg. He's really hurting his body. I hope that boy stops getting involved with the dark. Which, then, what I can do for Caius is... Just then, someone called to her from behind, Sister Leticia. Leticia, surprised, recognized the voice. Is that little Enzo? She turned around and asked, Little Enzo, where are you? Please come here immediately. Little Enzo's voice rang out. Sister, I'm here. Leticia realized, this is definitely a trap. My brother, who can't even leave the estate, wouldn't be here. I couldn't ignore the child's voice. Leticia followed the sound, arriving at a cave. Are you in here, Enzo? She called out. Enzo, where are you? Seeing what lay before her, Leticia startled. It was the magical tool that had emitted her brother's cries. It's all right, she thought to herself. I knew something like this would happen. On the contrary, I'm glad, because he... Just then, Caius appeared behind her. Leticia, are you out of your mind? Why are you just standing there dumbly? Do you want to die? We need to get out of here quickly. Look out! A large boulder was falling towards them. The boulder quickly sealed the cave entrance. Outside, Patrick said triumphantly, just as planned, what did I say? I told you it would succeed. To be able to deal with that hateful Leticia and her husband at the same time, magnificent. Thanks to the dark mage. What a bargain. The mage, also surprised, said, I didn't think she'd fall into the trap so easily. I heard she's been in Celestia for a while now, so I thought she'd have cut off contact with her brother. Patrick laughed in reply. Not at all. Whenever the topic of her brother comes up, she becomes foolish, incapable of rational thought. The mage chuckled. I see. I've learned something new. Patrick smiled as well. Well then, I'd like to receive the promised reward. Unexpectedly, the mage replied, Not yet. We're not sure if they're dead, are we? Patrick asked angrily, Are you kidding me? With the cave collapsed like that, there's no way they survived. The mage reminded him, Calm down. This is half the promised money. The other half will be given after their deaths are confirmed. Patrick happily received the money. They're going to die anyway, so why be so picky? I'll be back when it's time to receive the rest. After he left, the mage beside him reported, He's gone. Please give the next instruction. The recipient of this report was Blue, the leader of the Shadow Mages. Blue quickly ordered, Release the chaotic monsters around the cave. The subordinate, clearly surprised, asked again, But aren't they already dead? Do we really have to do this? Blue then stated, We must be thorough. Our opponent is the Empire's finest knight. Back in the cave, Leticia coughed violently from the rock dust. I'm glad I managed to squeeze through this gap at the last minute, she thought. I somehow avoided being caught. Caius asked worriedly from behind her, Leticia, are you hurt anywhere? Leticia shook her head. I'm all right. Caius then smiled. That's good. I'm relieved. Seeing Caius's leg, Leticia gasped. Caius, he told her, it's just a minor scratch from the rubble. It's nothing, don't worry. Leticia scolded him. Look at all that blood. How can you say it's nothing? Hold still. Leticia quickly bandaged his wound. She sighed. The wound is worse than it looks. Herbs, or at least some water to wash it would be good. This is all my fault. I acted stupidly again. I keep putting Caius in danger. Sensing her distress, Caius suddenly placed his hand on her shoulder. Leticia, he said, this isn't your fault. It's the Shadow Mages who did this. But I need to know why you came here, even though you knew it was a trap. Leticia spoke honestly. I heard Enzo's voice here. Caius replied, I guessed as much. I followed you because I saw you calling Enzo's name and entering this cave. But that's not what I wanted to say. You knew it was a trap. Leticia nodded. Yes. Caius wondered, then why did you come in? Leticia lowered her head. Because I had no other choice. Even if I was completely sure it wasn't Enzo, I still had to come. Caius asked worriedly, why? You're not that foolish. Leticia spoke. For me, family is everything. I want to save them from danger at all costs. If you needed me, I would follow you anywhere without hesitation, even if it means going to hell. So if you're by my side, you'll have no choice but to witness things like this. Moreover, because I have many enemies, if I get into a bad situation, your life may be in danger. Caius frowned. Leticia turned her face away, calling his name softly, Caius. A sad expression flickered across her features, as if they were about to part. A secret fear pricked at Caius. Leticia, why are you making that face? Don't look at me like that, as if I'm the one leaving. A tense silence hung in the air before Leticia finally spoke. Caius, after we safely get out of here, do you want to divorce me? Caius asked, horrified. What? I don't understand. What did you just say? Leticia repeated, her voice steady despite the tremor in her heart. Let's divorce. Disbelief warred with a rising panic in Caius. What nonsense are you talking about? Say that again. Think carefully, and then speak. Are you kidding me? That's not the answer I wanted to hear. Leticia silently turned away. Caius reached out, his hand gripping her shoulder, a sudden urgency in his touch. Why are you saying this? What's wrong? Is it because we fell into the trap, or because I mentioned your brother? Leticia shook her head. No, Caius, bewildered, began. Then why? A sudden stab of pain shot through his shoulder. Leticia's worry was immediate. Are you okay? Your shoulder. You've been enduring it. You look worse than before. Look, being by my side constantly puts you in danger. Is my fault we fell into the trap today, too? Caius asked, a strained smile on his lips. So, are you saying I should back down? Because I'm weak? Because I'm not even human? Actually, I'm strong. Leticia then replied, I didn't say you were weak. Because of me, you've had to fight the shadow mages for 10 years. I can understand how much you've endured. In facing them, I believe you've helped a great deal. However, I'm afraid you'll meet the same end as your father. You look a lot like your father, Commander. Every time I see you, that moment comes back to me. The moment when the Commander was right in front of me, and I couldn't save him. I'm afraid I won't be able to do anything this time either. That's why I'm afraid of losing you. I want you to stop getting involved. But if you're by my side, that will be difficult. The shadow mages and I will continue to chase each other until one of us disappears. Caius then spoke. So you're telling me to run away now because I might die? Leticia, how can I leave you behind? You're my only family. Just like you feel about little Enzo, I feel the same way. Leticia then replied, but, Caius, you don't have to put yourself in danger. Caius gritted his teeth. Listen carefully, Leticia. I'm not like my father. I won't abandon my family because of the shadow mages. And I won't die in front of you. I won't run away, leaving everything to you. I will never repeat my father's mistakes. So stop saying things like that. At this, Leticia reminded him, Caius, calm down. You're getting more agitated, and your wound is bleeding more heavily. Caius then asked, you drove me crazy for 10 years when you disappeared, and now you're talking about divorce. Are you kidding me? Leticia replied, you're grown up now. You should understand. Back then, our marriage was just for mutual benefit. Caius interrupted her. That's not funny at all. A marriage for benefit? I haven't achieved my purpose yet. Do you know the debt you left behind? I've already paid it off for that guy. Leticia was utterly surprised. What? Then why did Patrick go to Circle? Caius said in a low voice. He probably wants to hide the fact that I paid off his debt, trying to extort more. He continued, recalling the past. I wondered if the reason you disappeared was because of that debt. If you could come back, I wanted to try everything I could. I know you didn't come back because of the debt, but even if I decided to say it, I couldn't. I know how much you struggled because of that debt. I don't want to hurt your pride, Leticia said, her voice low, but if you're going to abandon me like this, even if it's pathetic, even if it's miserable, I'll still hold on to you. You owe me, Caius. Don't abandon me. Divorce, she breathed, the word hanging heavy in the air. You can't. With that final, desperate plea, Caius succumbed to his blood loss and fainted. Confusion clouded Leticia's mind. Did he even realize what he just said? She wondered, staring at his unconscious form.